Part 21. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Chingjomi Se. Chapter 202. The show continued. In the kitchen, people who were idle got up and left one after another. Xiaoqing I stood in front of the sink, with Fang Ye on the left and Zhou Gaikan on the right. Although Zhou Wenbei wanted to argue, he could tell that he was a bit thin-skinned, so he could only stand next to Fang Ye. In fact, there is nothing funny, but when these three people stand together, the barrage is full of ha ha ha. Brother Ye, are you free tomorrow? Xiaoqing I asked Fang Ye proactively. The cameras showed the faces of Zhou Gaikan and Zhou Wenbei very accurately. Although neither of them raised their heads, one was biting his lip and the other was frowning. Yes, I'm not busy. I'm free at any time. Xiaoqing I, then we will cook dinner together tomorrow. Fang also beamed with joy, no problem, it's definitely possible. I'll be back at 4:30. Zhou Wenbei sighed slightly, and Zhou Gaikan stopped moving his hands. Xiaoqing looked at the other two people, Brother Ye and I will come. You go and rest. On the barrage, ha 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 started to float on the screen. Brother Zhou, why can't you avoid the red nose part every time? I cried to death, but Brother Ye stood up. You guys know nothing. Brother Ye is the worst. Chen Go is a scumbag. Will Xiaoqing really fall in love? This is to play with Brother Ye's feelings. Three big mouths, if it were Xiaoqing I would be willing to be caught too. Okay, Brother Ye, just sacrifice yourself. Rather than letting Chen Go win, I would rather King I teach you a lesson. The two red-nosed brothers had no choice but to walk out. Brother Ye's laughter sounded extremely harsh in the background. Zhou Gaikan sighed and looked out the window. He happened to see Su Yuan standing on the glass plank outside, and then hurriedly walked to the living room. Zhou Wenbei did not lag behind at all, and laughed and said, I've eaten a little too much, I'll go out to eat. Zhou Gaikan, yeah, I'm fine, but I have to go to the boardwalk every day to get some fresh air. I've been under a lot of work pressure recently. Zhou Wenbei, I haven't been there yet. I'll go check it out with you. Seeing this, Su Mo and Chen Qinyu couldn't hold back their smiles, probably because of the camera's exaggeration. The purpose of the two people was too obvious, wasn't it just to see Su Yuan outside? Xiaoqing I gave a clear signal and immediately started thinking about others again. Su Mo really didn't notice these details when she was on the show. Of course, it also has something to do with the atmosphere created by the show crew. However, when the two brothers walked across the lawn talking and laughing, Chen Shen was already standing next to Su Yuan, and Zhou Gaikan and Zhou Wenbei looked at each other. Zhou Gaikan immediately looked up at the sky, hey, what's the date today? The moon is so round. Zhou Wenbei followed and looked at it, there are also stars. From this angle, they are really beautiful. Voice-over guest dialogue. I can't do it anymore, so I just started. I'm laughing so hard, ha ha ha. I really didn't mean it, but it was so funny. Two big live treasures. Han is indeed very good and fun-loving, but Xiaobai has just arrived and has to bear all this. Who are you not good at playing with? Play with Can. The barrage was not as polite as the guests. Someone set the pace, and many people were saying world-famous paintings, clowns look at each other. Chen Qinyu burst out laughing, and then hurriedly covered her mouth. After watching this, she understood why this show was so popular. In the words of the entertainment industry, the program was so over the top that the main course was not even served, and it was all just laughs. She covered her mouth because Su Mo was next to her. In reality, her younger brother was an honest person. She still remembered that when he was in college, he had a girlfriend who ignored him and called her crying in the middle of the night. But why are you so smart in the show? Chen Qinyu explained for Chen Shen, Shen takes his work seriously. This girl named Su Yuen seems a little swaying at first glance. He must be doing it as a job. Su Mo hummed, but no emotion could be heard. Chen Qinyu sat up straighter and became more focused. She suddenly regretted it. Why did she want to watch this with Mr. Su? Isn't this looking for trouble for herself? The same goes for the director. Do you know how to edit? Xiaoqing II, big stars don't care about cutting hair, you have to cut Su Yuen and Chen Shen. On the glass plank road, Su Yuen turned back and glanced at Chen Shen. What are you doing here? The grievance could be heard in his tone. From the perspective of the audience, it is completely understandable that Zhou Gaikan cannot resist Xiaoqing II. What about Chen Shen? He walked with Mian every night, sat with Mian at the table, and Sister Mo even helped him talk. The key thing is that Chen Shen hasn't made dinner yet, and the barrage is full of people who feel sorry for Su Yuen. Chen Shen walked next to Su Yuen, and the two stood almost next to each other. Chen Shen, let me tell you a story. I have a friend who is a businessman. He spent a lot of effort and never rested for a day. It took him many years to have some considerable savings. When I thought I was great, I came into contact with some people, but these people just showed up, acted as intermediaries, introduced everyone, and got more savings than my friend who had struggled for many years. Seeing Chen Shen's metaphor, Chen Qinyu breathed a sigh of relief and glanced at Su Mo. Silly, that's how he is. He doesn't know how to please girls. It's the same on the barrage. I can tell it's a metaphor, but it's too formal. Many people just use this. Su Mo just hummed again. Sure enough, Su Yuen rolled his eyes and said, you might as well tell me a joke. Chen Shen, if you really want to listen, I can tell you. Then you tell me. There used to be a man who was a martial arts fanatic. He practiced Tita Kung Fu in seclusion on the mountain for decades. He finally mastered it and then came down the mountain. No more? What then? Chen Shen, then I was sucked away by the magnet. The only response to Chen Shen in the camera was the sound of wind. Chen Qinyu laughed again, and Su Mo also laughed twice. Chen Qinyu looked at Su Mo, don't you have a silly cuteness? Su Mo didn't answer. Chen Qinyu didn't feel out of place either. It's normal for people to not laugh when they watch his show. Someone laughed on the barrage, but it was just a joke. They laughed at Chen Shen for being too old-fashioned. This kind of cold joke is not as bad as what Su Yuen told himself in the restaurant earlier. Su Yuen let out a long sigh, and then burst into laughter. It was such a good joke that even Su Yuen sighed. It turns out that Chen Go also overturned his car sometimes. However, the next second, Su Yuen said softly, do you think it's not good for me to do this? That way. Don't you see it? They all told me stories. Chen Shen smiled and said, very good, you can just take my story for granted. I just don't know how to comfort you. You are Su Yuen. Others' choices are just other people's choices. Whoever they choose can't decide what kind of person you Su Yuen is. Su Yuen looked at Chen Shen. Even in the dark, Su Yuen's eyes were bright. Question marks began to float on the barrage. No, why did the wind direction suddenly change? Chen Go did it on purpose. He pretended to be stupid on purpose. I am so stupid and yet I still try to comfort you. The value of it immediately went up. Damn scumbag. It's over, my goodness, don't listen to what he says, don't even listen to a single punctuation mark. It turns out that I am the clown. I still can't understand it. It feels so uncomfortable. Chen Qinyu was the most uncomfortable. Her smile was still frozen on her face. Chen Shen's words and Su Yuen's reaction immediately made Chen Qinyu feel on pins and needles. However, this is not over yet. Su Yuen looked at Chen Shen for a long time, and then said, turn around. What? Turn around. Chen Shen turned around and faced Su Yuan. Su Yuan pouted, and then leaned forward until his head was pressed against Chen Shen's chest. His hands went up and slowly hugged Chen Shen's waist. You will die for me. Chen, go. Go away. Go away. Go away. Go away. Thank you for being confused. It's over, Yuan has completely fallen. Chen, go, you really deserve to die. Not to mention the barrage, someone in the observation room threw a pillow, and Ling Yanhui and Yu Zhongqian roared directly. What is a scumbag? This is a scumbag. A complete scumbag. I've had enough. I will never defend Chen Shen again. He is a scumbag. Yeah, why is he like this? I can't stand him no matter what Mian is, and here he comes again. Jinan, the always calm emotional writer, also stood up. From today on, I won't speak for him anymore. It's so irritating. Lin Tong started to control the scene, smiled and told everyone to calm down, saying it was just a show, don't get involved. At this moment, Li Ruking suddenly blinked and said, why are you guys reacting so strongly? There's nothing wrong with Chen Shen. Mian has a special personality. Others didn't notice it at first. It was Chen Shen who made her feel less uncomfortable, and Chen Shen confessed to her that he told Mian that he might not be in love, so what's the problem? Li Ruking's words attracted the attention of the entire observation room, who all stared at her. Li Ruking felt a little uncomfortable and said, is there something wrong with what I said? Yuan is already very pitiful. In that scene just now, she had already broken her guard. The other boys didn't notice it at all, and they all surrounded Ching Ching. After a while, Chen Shen just comforted her. She was comforted, so why not give her a hug? There were question marks all over the barrage. Damn, there are experts. Chen Qinyu was stupid at first, but Su Mo was next to her, and Su Mo, who had shown her heart to Chen Shen, was now watching the show with me, my sister, and watching Chen Shen cuddling with others. Is this his younger brother? How many words can have such an effect? Accidental collision, right? After Li Ruking explained, Chen Qinyu slowly looked at Su Mo, that. Su Mo looked back at the screen, sighed, and then said quietly, I know, it's work, it's okay. Chen Qinyu was stunned for a moment, then lowered his head, his face feeling a little hot. Su Mo sighed again, and her voice was much lower, it's okay, you act like this as if I like your brother. Chen Qinyu clenched her fists, empathizing with Su Mo's feelings. They all sighed and explained to Chen Shen that this was not liking, but that this was Su Mo. Chen Qinyu gritted his teeth and said, I'll take care of him. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Mi Se. Chapter 203. Under the gentle evening breeze, Su Yuan said to Chen Shen that this hug was more comforting than all the comforts just now. It would be a sweet and famous scene in any romance show, but the BGM of the show is slightly sad, like Chen Shen's hand that is still frozen in the air when he has not responded. Jinan sighed, if a relationship doesn't happen at the right time, it will probably end with regret. But for Yuan, hey. No one in the observation room answered the call, including Li Ruking. Everyone could see that Su Yuan had chosen Chen Shen at this moment. She thought that the only person who was not affected by Xiaoqing Ai was also running towards her. God's perspective is just what she thinks. Oh, Chen Shen, please don't do this, please. Chen, go, I'll give you a reason not to die, so be kind and kind. You see, in relationships, whoever is sober is cruelty. Maybe Jinan's interpretation affected the barrage, and coupled with the sad BGM, after the atmosphere increased, the barrage became full of moans and groans. This image may be remembered in the minds of many viewers. At this time, the patches that Zhao Chunsheng had made in advance had some effect. Love Lesson is not a pure love drama, but a social love experimental observation program. The camera pulled up, and there were indeed stars above the starry sky. The screen turned and they were already in their respective dormitories. Chen Shen was lying on the bed, staring at the ceiling, lost in thought. Under the atmosphere of the program crew, he seemed to be still thinking about what happened with Su Yuan. What about Fang Ye? Neither sitting nor standing, he walked back and forth and looked at Chen Shen several times. Chen Shen didn't look at him and he was so anxious. After walking around for a few more times, Fang Ye said directly, "You know, she asked me to make dinner together tomorrow." Chen Shen glanced at Fang Ye. "Yeah. Fang Ye, we also washed the dishes and tidied the kitchen together, and talked a lot." Chen Shen, "Yeah. Fang Ye, she works very quickly and meticulously. Girls who work hard are so beautiful." Chen Shen sighed, turned over and ignored Fang Ye. Fang was also stunned. "Hey, you don't understand. For some girls, just one look is enough. I know you think I'm not dedicated. I've been in contact with Sister Mo, but it's a bit awkward and out of tune. I'll try my best pass." Chen Shen, "Brother Ye, roses are beautiful, but they have thorns." Fang also jumped directly onto Chen Shen's bed. "I understand, Qingyi is an artist, it is really difficult, but my heart is surging, do you understand? It's like being ignited. I know that we are both down-to-earth people, it's okay, it's a mess, but I firmly believe that as long as we do our best, everything will be the best arrangement." Seeing this, Su Mo burst into laughter. Seeing Su Mo's smile, Chen Qinyu relaxed and laughed too, and added, "This guy named Fang Ye understands Shen Shen quite well. He is right. Shen Shen is still a down-to-earth kind of person, but with a there's no way around the mission." Su Mo smiled and said nothing. Fang didn't know anything, so Chen Shen easily solved it for him. Chen Qinyu's sister has a bit of a heavy filter, and she seems to dote on Chen Shen a lot. When Su Mo saw this, he didn't have any big fluctuations. As long as he didn't look at himself, he just watched it as a comedy. She looked at Chen Shen with admiration precisely because of Chen Shen's actions. However, regardless of following Chen Qinyu's ideas, Su Mo felt that it was impossible for her to ask Chen Shen for anything. This was not in line with her values. She would only ask others if she could not win over others. However, it is reasonable for a sister to ask her brother, right? The show continues in another room. Zhong Wenbei was lying on the bed, his eyes wide and round, as if he was still remembering something, and then he started to turn over, left and right. 10 minutes after a narration subtitle appeared on the screen, Zhong Wenbei suddenly sat up. "Brother Ken, are you asleep?" Zhou Gaikan covered his head and remained motionless, asleep. Zhong Wenbei sighed again and simply got out of bed. He didn't know what he was busy with. He went to the bathroom and then returned to the bedroom. "I don't understand, Brother Ken. You came early and worked again. You must understand. Did Sister Yuan and Brother Shen go in both directions?" Zhou Gaikan turned over and did not reply to Zhong Wenbei's question. The barrage became active again. "Ha ha ha ha, thanks to the Red Nose team for saving my breasts, I finally feel comfortable. No, 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 your brother Joe can't figure it out. Brother Joe, I understand now that without you in this show, I would be depressed. My ugly brother deserves to enjoy the ancestral temple." From the perspective of the audience, it is indeed a bit over the top for Zhong Wenbei, who is still a student. Zhong Wenbei didn't have any good results in Mian, and Yuan was even more exaggerated and hugged Chen Shen directly. Where was Xiaoqing Ai? Fang Ye was named. There was only one Su Mo left. From the perspective of getting along, Zhong Wenbei was cautious when facing Su Mo, like a student meeting his teacher. It must be, they all hugged. "Hey, Zhou Wenbei said in a low tone. Zhou Gaikan then responded, "Stop thinking nonsense. You comforted and hugged you in that situation just now. Do you think I don't know? I just don't want to take advantage of it." Zhou Wenbei, huh? Is that so? Zhou Gaikan, what do you think? When chasing a girl, you should pay attention to sincerity, not routine. Zhou Wenbei nodded, as if he understood, and lay back on the bed. Just as he lay down, he looked over at Zhou Gaikan, but, after Brother Shen hugged Sister Yuan, he turned around and went for a walk with Mian again. Sister N didn't seem to mind at all. When I met her before to deliver the letter, Sister N was still singing. Now Zhou Gaikan sat up and said, "What?" Zhou Wenbei began to cheer, "Forget it, maybe you are right, Brother Ken. Sincerity is the most important thing. I hope you will be better to me tomorrow. I have classes tomorrow, so I'll go to bed first." Another 10 minutes later the subtitles appeared. Zhou Gaikan was still awake after tossing and turning. He raised his head and looked at Zhou Wenbei. "Xiaobai, are you asleep? The barrage made me laugh so hard, I was so happy. Ha 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 ha, it has to be you, Brother Zhou, how can I live without you? No, it hurts me to laugh. Hey, I feel like if Xia King II chooses my ugly brother, he would really dare to jump on the table and confront Chen Go. I don't know about the others. Brother Zhou will definitely not be able to sleep tonight. Mad, there is no chance for his emotions to be played with. Brother Zhou, are you watching the show now?" Chen Qinyu and Su Mo were also very happy. They each pointed at some interesting barrages and laughed. In the blink of an eye, the mood returned. The scene changed to the next morning. Zhou Gaikan got up early in the morning to make breakfast, earlier than Chen Shen and Su Mo. On the barrage, a bunch of people said that Brother Zhou must have been up all night and gritted his teeth even when saying hello to Chen Shen. Su Mo's smile faded when she saw herself appearing on the screen. The smile on Chen Qinyu's face felt a little more reassuring, because Chen Shen was cooking 2 portions of noodles. However, when it was time to add the meat sauce, there was only 1 portion of the meat sauce in the crisper. It was obvious that he was stunned, and then heated it and added it all into a bowl. This kind of moment is usually embarrassing. You are holding 2 bowls of noodles, one with meat and one without meat. Even if you give the meaty one to a girl, it will be awkward, unless you give it to Su Yuan, who had a qualitative change last night, but now it is Su Mo. However, Chen Shen took the bowl with meat first and placed it directly in front of Su Mo. "Sister Mo, you eat first, mine will be ready soon." Seeing this, the smile on Chen Qinyu's face grew stronger. She tilted her head slightly. Sure enough, Su Mo also had a smile on her face, a very soft smile. Chen Qinyu thought to himself, "Finally, I got some extra points." You have to accept it? Chen Shen handles this kind of thing very appropriately. I'll give you the meaty part first and say that I didn't do it well. It won't be out of the ordinary at all, the voiceover in the observation room sounded. Someone expressed a different opinion, but wouldn't it be better if you give it in person? I'll give you the meaty ones, and I'll eat the meatless ones myself. Jinan retorted, so you are not Chen Shen. This kind of thing is divided between people. Girls like Su Mo want to be natural. If you are too much, people will immediately think too much. This kind of thing is only considered considerate by little girls. Chen Qinyu knew how to activate triple speed. The feeling of being analyzed was definitely not that good in my opinion. Su Mo said calmly, "It's okay. If I even care about this, I won't die from exhaustion." Su Mo was indeed in a good mood. She really thought that Chen Shen didn't want to eat meat because his bowl had a lot of vegetables. It's early in the morning and I have to go to work again. Who thinks about it so much? Looking at it now, it feels very different. It feels like someone is taking care of me without even realizing it. The key point is that this matter is silent. If you don't look at it, you may never know. What Sumo pays attention to is this. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Chingjomi Se. Chapter 204. The camera was very particular. Sumo and Chen Shen were eating noodles face to face. It smelled delicious. There was a figure watching them from the kitchen. The comments were hilarious. Some people eat noodles with their mouths, and some people eat noodles with their eyes. From the audience's perspective, they wanted to laugh as soon as Joe Gaiken appeared. From my ugly brother's perspective, it was too suffocating. Last night, Chen Shen comforted Su Yuan, took a walk with Mian, and now he's having breakfast with Sister Mo. The biggest advantage of the ugly brother is that he gets frustrated and frustrated. Ha ha ha, who do you think he cooks his porridge for? It's over, it's over. I thought about it and it seems that the ugly brother's porridge is ownerless. Who can be blamed? If he was really more dedicated, Chen Go would be the one cooking porridge in the kitchen now. In the comments, the amount of discussion when Joe Gaiken appeared was comparable to that when Chen Shen appeared. After Chen Shen and Sumo finished their meal, they packed up and went out. They walked together. Chen Shen was sitting in the passenger seat of Sumo. Can you tell Chen Go to use Weibo or TikTok? I like Chen Shen so much now. I'm his die-hard fan. I will love him to death. Why? Why can you sit in the passenger seat of Sister Mo's car? I'm so angry. Can't you stand up a little bit, Joe Ge? Why are you so cowardly? If it were me, I would just go to the car and pull Chen Go down. Some people are too much. They can't scold Chen Go, so they start scolding my Joe Ge, right? Seeing these comments, Chen Kinyu frowned. Some of them were jokes, but some didn't seem to be jokes. Thinking of the original intention of letting Sumo watch the show together, Chen Kinyu breathed a sigh of relief. It's not bad. The more fierce the scolding, the better. At least he won't go to the entertainment industry, right? The show continues. Joe Gaiken was still guarding the kitchen, panting, and Sumian suddenly came in. Joe Gaiken didn't take it seriously at first, but when Sumian walked to the refrigerator, he suddenly made a move. Mian, good morning. Sumian took 2 steps back and looked at Joe Gaiken warily. Good morning. Joe Gaiken forced a smile on his face. Want breakfast? Do you want to cook noodles? But your meat sauce is gone. The audience was a little confused at first. You wouldn't cook porridge for Mian, would you? You might as well give it to Sister Mo. But as soon as the dialogue came out, everyone laughed. I understand, good job, Brother Ugly. Brother Ugly, it's up to you. Yes, that's it, expose him, expose the dead scumbag. I just remembered that even the meat sauce for Chen Shen's noodles was made by Mian, beast. Sumian was puzzled, and then looked at the kitchen. Is it so fast? Joe Gaiken, not fast at all. If you don't eat, Chen Shen is eating, he is still cooking for Sister Mo, and the remaining today is all for Sister Mo. Sumian, oh. Joe Gaiken was dumbfounded, seeing Sumian open the refrigerator to find food. Joe Gaiken said again, I cooked porridge, do you want to drink porridge? Sumian took a bread from the refrigerator, and then smiled at Joe Gaiken rarely. I don't drink porridge in the morning, I remember, I will buy some meat sauce in the evening, thank you for telling me this. After that, Sumian turned and went out. Joe Gaiken was dumbfounded. Me. Woo, my Mian, I'm crying. That's it? Brother Ugly, that's all you are? I was expecting you, Spit blood, what am I expecting, Mian, You silly kid, people are using your meat sauce to get close to Sister Mo. Hey, won't Chengo really win, will he? Puh, fuh, Chengo will definitely not win. If he wins, I will stand upside down and eat 800 kilograms. The observation room is also discussing this issue. It's the 4th episode, and the Dark Line has begun to fight. Lin Tong led everyone to analyze why Xia King Ai chose Fang Ye, where Chen Shen's advantages are, and where Xia King Ai's advantages are. Ling Yanhui, I think it's not complicated for King Ai to choose Fang, because among the male guests, she may have seen that only Zhou Gaikan and Xiaobai are enthusiastic about looking for other female guests. Fang Ye and Chen Shen are roommates, so she might as well choose Fang Ye first and let others compete with Chen Shen. Yu Zhongqian replied, ha ha ha, maybe King Ai didn't expect that others couldn't compete at all. Everyone laughed, and it was true if you looked at it this way. Jinan smiled and said, I think my answer is definitely stable. Chen Shen really can't win. I just have one argument, and you will definitely be convinced, because he still wants to mix in the entertainment industry. Everyone looked at me and laughed. The barrage instantly understood, that's right, Jinan is worthy of being an expert, he can always jump out and look at the problem from a higher dimension. Now it seems that Chen Shen doesn't care about the male guests at all, and he has spent all his energy on the female guests. Needless to say, many people have analyzed Mian, saying that Mian's feelings for Chen Shen may not be the kind of love between men and women. Mian's personality is indeed very special. Maybe she just came to find a friend and happened to meet Chen Shen, who knows how to behave. Su Yuan can't help it. He has been moved and took the initiative to hug. What about Sister Mo? Chen Shen has been close to Sister Mo since the 2nd episode. The audience thinks that Sister Mo must be stable, but Sister Mo can't like others. She has been in contact with Fang Ye. Who can she blame for the lack of effect? So, now only Xia King Ai is left. Xia King Ai must fight against Chen Shen. Let's not talk about this point that Chen Shen can't win. Jumping to the question, does Chen Shen dare to win? Under the leadership of Jinan, the audience figured this out, and someone on the screen was comfortable. Chen Shen still doesn't dare to open a social account. With this cowardly attitude, how dare he win? If he wins, the audience will criticize him to death. You act well, right? Let's see what other jobs you can get. Whatever you get, you will be criticized. Chen Kinyu also smiled. Then I feel relieved. It doesn't matter whether you win or not. The main thing is not to go to the entertainment industry. However, Su Mo beside her suddenly snorted softly, I said I can get by. Chen Kinyu stared. Accompanied by the voiceover in the observation room, it was soon evening. Xia King Ai and Fang were also cooking in the kitchen, chatting back and forth. The barrage was also peaceful. Although Chen Go was hateful, Xia King Ai was also moving forward. Some of Xia King Ai's fans came out to say that Xia King Ai couldn't do this, and then they were suppressed by a large number of barrages. This has been the case for the past week. Xia King Ai's Weibo followers have skyrocketed to 1 million. Whenever someone below advised Xia King Ai not to fall in love, a bunch of people rushed to charge, which confused Xia King Ai's fans. They couldn't tell whether this group of people were friends or enemies, they only knew that this group of people had amazing fighting power. In 2 or 3 days, Xia King Ai's super topic popularity soared to the top of the idol field. Fans of other idol artists were confused. What does it mean? As long as Xia King Ai is in a relationship, you will support her to become the top female idol in the domestic entertainment industry. Has our circle become like this now? You can't not be in a relationship? My eyes are a little inflamed and I always feel like there is something foreign in them. I'll be less active today. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Mi Se. Chapter 205. In the show, Chen Shen hadn't come back yet. In the bedroom, Su Mian wanted Su Mo to go to the supermarket with him, and then the two of them went out. Chen Qinyu watched it more seriously, because Su Mian and Chen Shen had been on the hot search, the big bad wolf and the little sheep CP. Judging from the hot search, Su Mian must be a simpler type. If it really comes to matching, Chen Qinyu thinks that Su Mian and her brother may be more suitable. Of course, that was the previous perception. What about now? Chen Qinyu thinks that Chen Shen has Su Mo, which is already a blessing. Su Mo suddenly said, Mian is the only friend I made in the show. She is really a very pure person. She is so pure that she doesn't even have a specific understanding of what feelings are, so her colors are very clear. Likes and dislikes are all on the surface. Chen Qinyu continued, no worries, so frank. Almost, but there are also concerns. After all, this is a collective society. She is afraid that her clear colors will hurt others in the big environment, so her personality is very closed. For example, she dare not go to the supermarket alone. However, I like such people, Su Mo explained. Chen Qinyu nodded slowly. Su Mo was very good at judging people. If she judged people this way, Su Mian would lose points. Dating with such a girl is almost like raising a daughter. In the show, Su Mian and Su Mo went to the supermarket together. After a round, they didn't take anything. Su Mo asked Su Mian, what do you want to buy? Su Mian looked around and his eyes stayed on the meat stall. I want to buy that. Su Mo, why buy meat? Isn't someone cooking today? Su Mian shook his head, I want to buy meat filling. Su Mo, meat filling. Su Mian, yes, there is no fried sauce. Su Mo was stunned for a while before saying, do you want to eat fried noodles in the morning? Not to mention, it's delicious. I'm almost used to it. Su Mian shook his head, I don't eat it. Su Mo, ah. Why buy meat filling if you don't eat it? Su Mian, Chen Shen eats it? He likes noodles. This short conversation broke the defense from the observation room and then spread to the barrage. Impossible, fake, there can't be a girl like Mian in this world. Sure enough, I was confused at work and had hallucinations. My heart hurts, really, why can a dead scumbag meet Yun and Mian? Jinan, you better be true, I am now angry with Chen, go to the peak. Woo, little fool, didn't he tell you that you don't have to come here to fall in love? One by one, those who are still feeling heartbroken will never meet such a girl in their lifetime. When it's your turn, you dead lickers, you won't let her go out to buy vegetables for you, how can you make meat stuffing for you? Chen Qinyu sighed slightly, thinking it was a pity. If there was no Su Mo, a girl like Su Mian would have no shortcomings in her eyes, but now that Su Mo is here, Chen Qinyu feels that Chen Shen and himself are both stupid brothers, and how can he live with a stupid sister? Su Mo sighed without leaving any trace. She used to disdain such little thoughts, but love itself contains countless little thoughts. Who would give in? The camera was given to Zhong Wenbei. When he appeared in the villa with a few bags, the barrage was full of cheers. Those who have been following the show know that Su Yun likes to eat chicken feet very much. In the extra content, Su Yun brought chicken feet home several times. And Zhong Wenbei bought chicken feet today. Sure enough, Su Yun went home with a few boxes of chicken feet in his hands. The moment he saw Su Yun appear in the restaurant, Zhong Wenbei ran to the refrigerator and took out the chicken feet he bought himself. Su Yun was a little surprised, you bought it? Good taste, buy it from the same store as me. Zhong Wenbei smiled and said, brother Ken said that you always buy chicken feet from this store, which are delicious. I happened to pass by today and bought some, all spicy. Su Yun was stunned and replied with 3 words, tasteful. The voice-over in the observation room sounded. I am convinced. Xiaobai really listened to Xiaozhou and really wanted to choose Yuan. There is a little detail. Look at Xiaobai. His expression is very implicit. In fact, he bought it for Yuan on purpose. He had to say it was just right. This also shows that Yuan is excellent and attracts boys' attention. Look at Chen Shen. Even he puts most of his energy on Yuan. Someone in the barrage responded to the voice in the observation room, saying that Su Yuan should thank Chen Shen very much. Zhong Wenbei brought a few boxes of chicken feet to the dining table and sat face to face with Su Yuan. What he bought was indeed spicy, garlic and spicy, both of which were the flavors Su Yuan liked. Zhong Wenbei, I usually like spicy food. I'll find a drama and eat while watching it. It's very comfortable. Su Yuan didn't even look at Zhong Wenbei, and continued her usual encouraging social expression, then it's the same as me. I also like to eat snacks while watching dramas. Zhong Wenbei was delighted, really? That's great. Su Yuan put on gloves, then I'll eat it. Zhong Wenbei pushed both boxes to Su Yuan, eat whatever you want. If it's delicious, buy more tomorrow. Su Yuan, thank you, you eat it too, brother. Yeah, King I, do you eat it? I'll bring some for you. Xiaobai bought it? Everyone in the kitchen was shaking their heads and said they had to cook. It was a critical moment. Zhong Wenbei, Sister Yuan, do you get off work at this time every day? Su Yuan, about the same time. I'm very busy. All kinds of chores are piled up on me. My head hurts. Zhong Wenbei smiled and said, learn from the post-2000s. If there are too many chores, just do your own work. Who cares? How can you be happy if you don't slack off? Su Yuan shook his head and said, no, how can you slack off? You must do what you should do. Zhong Wenbei laughed and said, I'm kidding. As long as the salary is in place, it's not a big deal. Su Yuan sighed, don't say it. It makes me sad to talk about it. Zhong Wenbei encouraged again, it's okay, take your time. I heard from Brother Ken that Sister Yuan has only been working for a short time. Your salary has been rising slowly. If it doesn't work, just change your industry. Su Yuan rolled his eyes, how much pressure is there in the current environment? How can you change your job just like that? Xiaobai, you are a top student. You have to work hard, otherwise you will have to live a hard life like me after you come out. Zhong Wenbei laughed and said quickly, Sister Yuan, you are already very good. I have to learn from you. There are many cheers on the barrage. Xiaobai finally determined the target. Although it is difficult, it may work wonders. Come on, come on. Your brother Joe is a clown who can't be helped. You can't be like him. You have to show the style of a top student and never give up. Yes, that's it. Approach slowly, express slowly, and be patient. Chen Go has no way to remind Yuan like Mian. I don't believe that Chen Go walks with Mian every day. Yuan doesn't mind at all. This is your chance. Zhou Ji is too bad. He seems to still care about his face. He always can't let go of his body in front of girls. Don't learn from Zhou Ji. Just open your heart to pursue Yuan and let Yuan feel the contrast. She will choose you. The barrage seemed to be stimulated by Su Mian buying meat sauce, and they all gave advice to Zhong Wenbei in the barrage. Chen Shen appeared at the door of the restaurant, greeted each other, and then went to the dining table. He was not polite at all and sat directly next to Su Yuan. Su Yuan smiled, when do you usually come back? Chen Shen, around 5:30, wow, you like to eat so much. You bought chicken feet again. Zhong Wenbei on the opposite side replied, I bought it. The barrage became more active, and began to cheer for Zhong Wenbei. Chen Shen was slightly stunned, so good. Zhou Wenbei puffed out his chest, not bad, but I bought spicy food, can you eat spicy food? Chen Shen smiled, I really can't eat spicy food. The barrage began to get excited. Ha ha ha, good job, Xiaobai. You are more reliable than ugly brother, right, that's it, don't be scared, you are all more than 1 meter tall, who is afraid of who? Xiaobai is so handsome, kill him, tell Yuan what a good man is. But Su Yuan got up silently and went to the refrigerator. After a moment, she took the bag she was carrying, which also contained 2 boxes of chicken feed. She walked silently to Chen Shen, took out the box, opened it, and placed it in front of Chen Shen. Eat this is not spicy, it's braised, and there's also soy sauce. Zhou Wenbei. It's not fair. I don't accept it. Su Yuan, you are taking sides. My Xiaobai is so good. My blood pressure is up, why? Yuan, why are you so confused? Don't you usually buy spicy food for yourself? Woo 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 woo. This blow hurts so much, but Xiaobai, you have to hold on. We must not give up. Your sister Yuan is so nice. Look at her chatting with you, she doesn't deal with you at all. This is your chance. Come on, Xiaobai, you have the advantage, you wait for me and Mian to come back. Don't be angry, no one can replace you if you get sick from anger. Chen Shen is a dog. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Mi Se. Chapter 206. Zhou Wenbei was obviously in a daze, looking at the boxes of chicken feet without saying anything. Su Yuan began to ask Chen Shen, do you usually get off work so early? Chen Shen nodded, almost, mainly because I have nothing to do. Su Yuan, that's good too, I can slack off when I have nothing to do, and slacking off is fun. Hearing Su Yuan say this, Zhou Wenbei immediately looked at Su Yuan, as if to say, you didn't say that just now, you said you can't slack off. Su Yuan felt Zhou Wenbei's gaze, and smiled a little guilty, although slacking off is not good, it's fun, Xiaobai, don't you think so? The barrage was full of question marks. Chen Shen replied, what's good about it? The salary is low. Su Yuan looked at Chen Shen again, it doesn't matter. Who has a high salary at the beginning? These are all achieved slowly. It takes a long time for a daughter-in-law to become a mother-in-law. Chen Shen sighed, but I can't bear it anymore. Su Yuan, it doesn't matter. For boys, if one industry doesn't work, just change to another industry. You are so young now, everything is possible, don't you think so, Xiaobai? Zhou Wenbei's face changed from, and he was in no mood to answer Su Yuan's questions. On the barrage, blood pressure rose in patches. Bang! A more painful blow, this knife, kills without blood, Su Yuan, you are so cruel. You did it on purpose, Chen Go, you must have eavesdropped on Xiaobai and Yuan's conversation. Why is it not enough for Chen Go to meet Su Mian, and there is also Su Yuan, although I also want to kill him, but I am really envious. I am angry, so I am angry, why shouldn't I be angry, but I can't be angry with Yuan, Wu, Chen Go, don't let me meet you in reality. Yuzhou, right? Okay, I will buy the ticket tomorrow morning, brothers, wait for my good news. Beast, if I were Chen Go at this moment, what would it feel like? Ah, I dare not think about it. Su Yuan seemed to have reacted. Here she comes, reaches out and hits Chen Shen, you did it on purpose, are you mocking me? Chen Shen then laughed and said, no, in fact, boys and girls are the same, whether it is a daughter-in-law becoming a mother-in-law or changing industries, these are all normal choices. No matter what you choose, there are gains and losses. The key is your heart, and what you just asked Xiaobai, Happiness is also a very important metric. Su Yuan was stunned for a moment, his face softened immediately, then he hummed, and then looked at Chen Shen again. Can you not be so smart? Chen Shen laughed again. Praise me? You see, it's just you, other people can't see so many of my advantages, you are just too good at discovering other people's advantages. Su Yuan was stunned, and then he laughed non-stop. Zhong Wenbei, who was still very uncomfortable, began to be stunned again at this moment. The observation room began to go crazy as usual, jumping, throwing pillows, and even the host Lin Tong was punching the camera. The barrage exploded. Brother, you still have a life, you won't let Yuan's words fall to the ground, right? I'm so shocked, is this a scumbag? Xiaobai, let's not try hard, we can't beat him, we really can't beat him, the enemy is too strong. Amazing, brother, I won't kill you, please teach me, please. I'll pay you, isn't it okay to pay? I really want to learn. You beast, you're really a beast, you'll die a miserable death, Chen Go. Su Mo was stunned by this part. At that time, she and Su Mian were still in the supermarket, and she had no impression of this part at all. Especially with Zhong Wenbei in contrast, the difference was too obvious. Su Mo's mouth corners turned down slightly. Even she felt a little jealous about Chen Shen's part. No wonder Su Yuan's expression was so disheartened at the end. This guy really didn't do Su Yuan justice. Su Mo turned her head slightly to look at Chen Qinyu. Chen Qinyu was in a strange state at the moment. She approached the screen, scratched her head, and made a hissing sound when she inhaled. Su Mo smiled a little. What's wrong? Ah. Nothing, nothing. Chen Qinyu sat up straight. This should be a script, it must be a script. It has a mission, so there must be a script. Su Mo covered her mouth and laughed. The show continued. Everyone was there and started to sit together for dinner. Zhong Wenbei obviously hadn't recovered yet, just lowered his head to eat. Chen Shen ate as usual as if nothing had happened. He dared to pick up food for Su Yuan blatantly. The key point was that Mian didn't seem to care much and ate very happily. Xia King Ai was given a lot of shots and frowned several times. The audience, stimulated by Chen Shen, began to cheer for Xia King Ai again. They said that this group of men were all noobs, and Xia King Ai had to be on the stage. They even begged Xia King Ai not to just fall in love, but to be a scumbag, otherwise they would feel unbalanced. After dinner, Zhong Wenbei stood up and took the initiative to clean the table. Zhou Gaikan hesitated, then stood up and worked with Zhong Wenbei. Others left one after another, and the kitchen was handed over to Zhong Wenbei and Zhou Gaikan. This scene fell on the observation room, causing a sigh. Perhaps Zhou Gaikan noticed that Zhong Wenbei was not in a good mood, so he asked, "What's wrong with you?" Zhong Wenbei didn't even raise his head. "I don't know, I feel it's so difficult, I can't even understand it." When this sentence was said, the barrage was full of distressed voices. Don't say you don't understand it, many viewers don't understand it either. Zhou Gaikan started to be confident again. What's there to not understand? You may be good at studying and handsome, so they usually pursue you. Now suddenly you are asked to pursue others, and you have no experience. Zhong Wenbei looked at Zhou Gaikan. What did you say? Zhou Gaikan, I said, you may be used to being passive, and when it's your turn to take the initiative, you get confused. Zhong Wenbei shook his head. Not this sentence, the previous one. Zhou Gaikan, do all the people you meet in real life like you? Zhong Wenbei, the next sentence. Zhou Gaikan frowned. Good at studying and handsome. Zhong Wenbei smiled. Really? Ahem. Really, it must be true. Do you think anyone can come to the show? Zhong Wenbei seemed to be really happy, and his movements of washing dishes were a little bigger. What am I worried about? Brother Ugly, can you please stop comforting me? So, what am I looking forward to? It's like this, I'm drooling after being cured. Ah, such a familiar smell of college students. After the two of them were busy for a while, Zhou Wenbei began to ask Zhou Gaikan again, Brother Ken, let me ask you another question. To be fair, am I better looking, or is Brother Shen better looking? Zhou Gaikan took a breath and hesitated for a long time before saying, you are good looking. You have the temperament of a scholar who is well read in poetry and books. These are things that people like us who have work don't have. Zhou Wenbei turned his head away, with a smile on his face, no, no, Brother Ken, you must think that I am your roommate, so you say that. It's exaggerated. Brother Shen is also good looking. For men, appearance is not important. The people in the observation room laughed so hard that they fell down. Lin Tong almost laughed herself to death, I can't do it anymore, ha 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 ha, Xiaobai actually stumped my brother Ken. Ha ha ha, director. Where did you find these people? They are so vivid. I can't wait to let the audience see this episode. It's really good, better than the movie. Zhou Wenbei in the kitchen inexplicably recovered his vitality, and it was lively outside. Chen Shen and Su Mian went for a walk again. Su Yuan hugged Su Mo's arm and watched them go out. She asked Su Mo to cook together. The barrage was still immersed in the unique temperament of college students, and some people began to sigh, sighing that Chen Gozpua at the beginning was still working. Although Chen Shen kept outputting positive emotional value to Su Yuan, he did not actively express ambiguity, which made Su Yuan feel that she had not done enough. At the same time, Xiaoqing Ai couldn't sit still anymore. He found Fang Ye at the stairs and asked Fang Ye if he had time tomorrow. Fang also said calmly that he had, and then Xiaoqing Ai invited him to go out and play in the afternoon. After saying it, Fang Ye quickly went upstairs and jumped in the corridor. The barrage of comments was so funny, and this happiness was probably the most normal happiness for the audience. As soon as Xiaoqing started to make a move, the comments of Chen Go Si Qing Yishan immediately dominated the discussion, and it was so dark that there was no end in sight. As soon as Chen Shen returned to the bedroom, Fang Ye pulled him onto the bed, and then Fang Ye laughed, she asked me out, she asked me out. Chen Shen said helplessly, I heard it, you made too much noise. Fang Ye, ha 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 ha, loud. Chen Shen, I heard your laughter outside. Fang Ye scratched his head, it doesn't matter, this is a good thing, I'm happy. Chen Shen sighed, Brother Ye, think about it, this may not have a good result. Fang Ye waved his hand, it's okay, I know you are doing this for my own good, but I just can't help but be happy. After that, Fang Ye sat down on Chen Shen's bed and put his arm around Chen Shen's shoulders, you, although you are an honest person like me, you have more concerns than me. I know, and I can see that Mian and Yuan may have feelings for you, and you are probably unsure of your inner thoughts, or some said they were afraid of hurting one of them. I would be confused if it were me. Who wouldn't be confused with two such excellent and beautiful girls? Don't mind my brother's nonsense. I treat you as a friend. I know you may not know what to do. It's okay. I will teach you. You must first determine a goal. Both girls are very good, but there are always deviations in their hearts. Don't be afraid of hurting anyone. Hesitation is the harm. Besides, there are people watching next door. Don't let both of them fail in the end. Another thing, this shouldn't be broadcast, right? I whispered, we are a love variety show, there will be many viewers watching, if you hesitate, they will scold you, if you are decisive, they will praise you. No matter whether you choose Mian or Yuan, as long as you make a choice, they will not scold you, really, listen to my brother. Fang Ye said these words sincerely and sincerely. Xiaoqing Ai's date invitation was like a strong wine, which made Fang Ye drunk. However, the voiceover in the observation room started laughing from the first sentence, and then laughed from the beginning to the end. Occasionally, the scene in the observation room was switched, and some people laughed to the ground. After finally calming down, someone said, "Director, you really didn't cut a word," and then started laughing again. They are all masters, amazing. I'm crying, brother. Yeah, you are sending information to Chengo, can't you date secretly? Chengo, listen to this, do you feel guilty? He is actually worried that you will be scolded. I'm scolding my mouth so much that smoke is coming out, why don't you let Chen Shen come out and be scolded? Brother, yeah, please, let Chengo open a social account, I won't scold him, really, I just miss him. I broke several keyboards, and now you want me to stop scolding him. Do you know how I've been spending the past half month? Brother, yeah, you're fine, really, you give advice to your brothers, but your brothers are playing tricks on you. How about this, brother? Yeah, you open a social account, I'll send something to Chengo, you help me pass it on. 10,000 people signed a petition in blood, begging Chengo to open a social account. We'll give brother Ye some face and not scold you. Monthly tickets, brothers, please give me the guaranteed monthly tickets for next month. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Se. Chapter 208. Every dormitory was talking, but Su Mian quietly went into the kitchen, took out the meat filling she and Su Mo bought at the supermarket from the refrigerator, and started to make fried sauce. Under the soft BGM, the delicate girl turned into a snail cook. This was the last shot of the day. How can this not be an idol drama? The guests in the observation room sighed. They laughed, and they began to value. From the perspective of humanity, they felt that even if Chen Shen was blind, he should see the advantages of the two girls. For such girls, is 1 million really more important than them? Is this the feeling of the sun shining on my rotten corpse? It's too dazzling. I'm going back to my sewer, woo woo woo. It's not worth it. For me, 1 million is bigger than the sky. Don't ask me why, because I know no one will do this to me. Chengo, if you really win the season, I will only respect you from the bottom of my heart. You are a man. The barrage was so big that there was nothing strange. The most excited are undoubtedly the fans of the setting, who are happy all the way to the end, and the more they watch, the better it looks. All the CP fans have turned into warriors, charging not only on the barrage, but also on major platforms. You, Chen Shen, have made us lose our CP, so don't let me catch you, otherwise. Some people who only watch and don't talk can't help it when they see this, and jump out to post barrage. They are the most rational, but hope that Chen Shen will win, because not winning means that Chen Shen will always be able to hold a beauty, and maybe even gain fame and fortune. Perhaps this is also the most correct choice, but absolute correctness in their eyes has fallen into clichés. After laughing and scolding, they may even spit. When men look at men, envy, jealousy, and appreciation are all second-level emotions, and admiration and respect for Niobe are first-level emotions. The next day, Xiaoqing Ai took Fang Ye to climb the mountain and spent it in the barrage of ha ha ha. Xiaoqing Ai didn't need to work hard at all, and didn't need Chen Shen's tricks at all. Fang Ye just came up to her and brought enough food and drinks. When Xiaoqing Ai chose a restaurant in the evening, Fang Ye called the yacht company again, and then took Xiaoqing Ai to the yacht for dinner. After a day, Xiaoqing Ai didn't have to worry at all. From the audience's perspective, what does it feel like? Xiaoqing Ai was a little soft-hearted. It's not that the other party is soft-hearted, but that the pressure is so high that his conscience is uneasy. Even so, it also gave some signs to the group of CP fans. What if? What if brother? Yes, meticulous warmth touched Xiaoqing Ai. It's like someone is still expecting Su Yuan or Su Mian to impress Chen Shen. In the evening, the familiar scene appeared again in the villa. Su Mo and Su Yuan cooked dinner together, and Chen Shen was still fiddling with his computer. Zhong Wenbei came back and rushed to the kitchen to help. Logically speaking, this is a perfect contrast. One does nothing, the other is very enthusiastic. Even a fool would know how to choose. But Su Mo and Su Yuan didn't seem to buy this. Su Mo simply chatted with Chen Shen while setting the table. It's likely that fewer people will eat tonight. Chen Shen, it's not a secret. Su Mo sat next to Chen Shen, put her hands on the table, and looked at Chen Shen intently. Just this scene, the observation room started to make a fuss again. So, how much information did they miss in Su Mo's mysterious car? Why do Su Mo and Chen Shen look so close? Su Mo, I'm a little curious. Chen Shen, don't be curious. The observation room laughed. Su Mo, the more you say this, the more there must be something. For example, do you really not know how to cook? Chen Shen interrupted directly, I really can't, you are a puppy if you lie. Su Mo smiled meaningfully. Chen Shen seemed a little overwhelmed, so he took the initiative to say, then I'll ask you a question, and I will only answer yes or no. This scene can be understood by Chen Qinyu, not to mention the audience. When Su Yuan and Su Mo were cooking, Su Mo asked Chen Shen to help, and Chen Shen went over but did not move. When the two rookies were cutting vegetables and preparing food, Chen Shen couldn't help but provide some suggestions. At that time, the audience was doubting whether Chen Shen could cook, but Chen Shen insisted that he saw it in a book. Add to that Su Mo's personality as a capital tycoon, it would be strange if there was no abnormality. Su Mo thought for a while, do you think brother Nai can attract King Ai? Chen Shen's face fell immediately. Ha ha ha, sister Mo is awesome, go ahead, Chen go ahead. I told you that once Xiaoqing went to a dating show, even Mian could see that it was unreasonable. How could sister Mo not be suspicious? Good news, sister Mo noticed something unusual. Bad news, the direction was wrong. Sister Mo, you should be concerned about the person opposite is the son of Chen Ruxi, the chairman of Chen Hotpot, the company that cheated you to invest in. It's over, she recorded it as a suspenseful mystery show. Su Mo would not let Chen Shen go, watching Chen Shen waiting for his answer. Chen Shen could only answer, no. Su Mo smiled, I didn't say anything. Chen Shen leaned back in the chair behind him, forget it, it doesn't matter, thank you sister Mo for showing mercy. Su Mo pouted, that's enough, you can give an accurate answer, which proves that you know more than me, I just don't want to spoil the show, and no matter what you are thinking about, the advantage is definitely not in your hands, and Mian is really good to you. Under the camera, Chen Shen did not respond, leaning back in his chair, not knowing what he was thinking. Su Yuan, probably seeing Chen Shen and Su Mo talking, came over with a bowl of hot pot dishes. What are you talking about? Su Mo smiled and said, I'm asking Chen Shen if he likes hot pot or stir-fried dishes. Su Yuan looked at Chen Shen, with some expectation in his eyes. Chen Shen came back to his senses, I like hot pot that's not too spicy. Su Yuan smiled like a flower. After this segment, the cameras switched to the observation room, and the guests in the observation room began to applaud unconsciously, applauding Su Mo. Wonderful, with flashes of swords and sabers. Sister Mo is really amazing, Mr. Jinan, can you analyze why Sister Mo said all this to Chen Shen? Jinan smiled and said, do you remember the previous scene? Everyone was chatting in their bedrooms, Su Mo went downstairs to deliver a letter, and then saw Mian making fried sauce in the kitchen. Li Ruking continued, I also think this is the reason. Mian is her roommate. When Sister Mo knew that Chen Shen's purpose of coming here was not pure, she began to worry about her roommate, and then she said these words to Chen Shen. It was a good warning for everyone. Jinan nodded, yes, with Sister Mo's qualifications, she has a wide perspective on things. As soon as Xiaoqing went to the love show, she felt that the love show had changed, and Chen Shen obviously spends the most time with Mian, but he made an appointment with Yuan. She may feel that there is some kind of script-like relationship between Chen Shen, Xiaoqing and the program team. Yu Zhongqian, so you told Chen Shen that the advantage is not his? Because she is a little blind to Chen Shen, do you really think Chen Shen is also an ordinary person? The program team, King and him, no matter how you look at it, he is at a disadvantage. Li Ruqing glared and said, so, this is actually Sister Mo's concern for Chen Shen. Everyone looked at Li Ruqing. Li Ruqing was stunned. Why, what's wrong? Then everyone began to sigh, and no one knew since when. Li Ruqing seemed to be watching an idol drama. No matter how outrageous it was, she was not angry, but watched it with great relish. Ling Yanhui frowned and said, isn't it obvious that this is forcing Chen Shen to make a choice? Since your purpose is not pure, then don't harm Mian, and don't mess with Xiaoqing because you are not a match. It's not that Xiaoqing is so powerful, but King has a company behind him. Why did you mention whether Chen Shen can cook before? Because Sister Mo knows that no matter whether Chen Shen can cook or not, he will definitely be scolded by the audience. How can you play with girls cooking? In Sister Mo's opinion, this should be a script between Chen Shen and the program team to sacrifice their reputation. Yu Qing said that it is not unreasonable, so she asked Chen Shen what he likes to eat in front of Su Yuan, just to point out a way for Chen Shen. Since you have taken the initiative with Su Yuan and he treats you very well, then go on with Su Yuan. This is the best choice for everyone. Jinan took the lead in applauding, and he also felt that the analysis made sense. Yeah, I've focused my attention on Qingyi and Chen Shen, and there's also a very powerful Sister Mo. Sister Mo is worthy of being my favorite. She only got a little information and immediately sorted out a logic that was almost right. I thought about it, even from a god's perspective, this is the best way for Chen Go. As soon as the observation room guided it, the barrage also followed the discussion. In the office on the 15th floor of Yuhan Hotel building, Chen Qinyu asked Su Mo, did you know that Chen Shen and Xiaoqing both had missions at that time? Su Mo was listening to the analysis and watching the barrage with relish, and complained, how is it possible? At that time, I just thought that your brother also had ill intentions towards Xiaoqing and advised him not to do stupid things. These people are talking without any pain. What script can make Su Yuan and Su Mian so determined to Chen Shen? They all took money. And then they didn't pay me? The director looked down on me. Chen Qinyu laughed straight, and after laughing for a while, Chen Qinyu looked at Su Mo again, do you really think my brother is so powerful? Su Mo rolled her eyes and said, not powerful, your brother is the dumbest, okay. Isn't this nonsense? If he wasn't powerful, would I sit here with you and watch TV? I'm free. However, from Su Mo's perspective, she understands Chen Qinyu. As the only woman in Chen Ruxi's lineage, she must be the one who loves Chen Shen the most in Chen Shen's life, so it's normal to have a filter. The same logic in reverse proves that Chen Qinyu's weight in Chen Shen's life may be more important than Chen Ruxi's, which is why Su Mo has put so much effort. Chen Qinyu was so happy that she suddenly felt that she was much closer to Su Mo, and unconsciously her whole body was leaning towards Su Mo. After laughing, Chen Qinyu pointed at the barrage and said, it's really stupid. Look at the barrage. So many people are talking about him. Why don't they talk about Xiaoqing? From the perspective of results, he is indeed not smart. Even if he is smart, he is just a little smart. After saying that, as if realizing something, Chen Qinyu smiled again and said, "Of course, I'm just talking to you about these things. Your cognition is more important than mine." Su Mo sighed, forget it, don't bother with the silly sister. Why did Chen Shen say that he couldn't cook? Isn't it just to ask for scolding? Otherwise, why didn't he sign Yuan and Huan Yu? Thinking of this, Su Mo felt a little uncomfortable. Since he has decided to do it big, why not Yuan Media? Feel sorry for Xia King II, right? Chen Qinyu wanted to say something, but was attracted by the voice on the screen. Chen Shen suddenly received a call, and the first sentence was sister. Chen Qinyu stared, she was on the show remotely. Then, Chen Qinyu immediately realized that this day was the day that changed Chen Hotpot's fate. At first, the audience didn't understand, why didn't the private phone call get cut? When Chen Shen looked at Su Mo expectantly, the barrage finally reacted. Su Mo got up helplessly and looked at Su Mian and Su Yuan. Didn't he say it was a small matter? You guys have a good meal, I'll drive him back to see him. Then she went out with Chen Shen. Chen Go dared to let Sister Mo take him back to his home. Isn't this courting death? Awesome, it depends on how far Chen Shen and Su Mo have communicated in the past few days. Brother, you should put away your magical powers, isn't it enough for me to surrender? Why do I feel that Sister Mo is also in danger? The observation room was also discussing how bold Chen Shen was. In the scene just now, Zhou Gaikan also had a car, but he looked at Su Mo, which means that Chen Shen deliberately asked Su Mo to take him home. Ling Yanhui, according to the timeline of the program recording, this moment is the critical period of Chen Hotpot. I heard that the capital chain had been broken at that time. Although Ling Yanhui is a popular comedian, he is also running a hotpot restaurant with his friends. After knowing that Chen Shen is Chen Ruxi's son, he went to inquire about Chen Hotpot. Yu Zhongqian, what about now? Ling Yanhui hesitated for a moment. I did ask about it, but I haven't figured out the current structure of Chen Hotpot. Was it acquired by someone or is it trying to survive? Anyway, the sign has been replaced by another one. Li Ruqing didn't care about these things. She looked at the director. Director, you are not professional, really, why can't there be a camera in Sister Mo's car? He really gave a shot of Zhao Chunsheng, and Zhao Chunsheng smiled bitterly. Is it because we don't want to? It's because we can't do it, okay. Do you think our program team has an easy time? Whoever wants to shoot this kind of program in the future can shoot it. The barrage was full of ha 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 ha. Chen Shen and Su Mo went out at 6:30 and came back at 10 o'clock. That's why Li Ruqing shouted at the director. She really saw it, and she felt uncomfortable all over if she missed a little information. How is it? It feels like something happened. Look, Sister Mo is in front and Chen Shen is behind. There is no communication at all. Sister Mo should know. Oh, it's so uncomfortable. I can't see what happened. The observation room began to scratch their heads, and the barrage was also analyzing. The girl who quietly made fried sauce last night was still waiting in the living room. Su Mo didn't talk to Chen Shen, but called Su Mian upstairs. Su Mian pouted and retorted, saying that she would come up in a while, and then Su Mo didn't care and went upstairs by herself. Su Mian took Chen Shen to the kitchen and took out a lot of food from the refrigerator. She sat opposite Chen Shen, supporting her chin and watching Chen Shen eat. You little heartless guy, so Sister Mo is not hungry. Ah, Sister Mo still cares about you, you only care about Chen Go, right? I am so angry. Is there anyone who can take care of Mian Mian? Has she realized it herself? This kind of preference is too lethal to boys. Chen Go, what are you doing? Aren't girls supposed to be like this? Su Mian watched Chen Shen eat for a long time before saying, is there any place you want to go? Chen Shen was stunned, What? Sumian, just, is there any place you want to go? The voiceover in the observation room sounded, oh my god, I forgot that the content of this episode is whether you want to date me. This is Mian's invitation to Chen Shen. Chen Shen seemed to have just reacted, I'm fine with anything. Sumian laughed and said, go to my house. Chen Shen, dot. Seeing that Chen Shen didn't answer, Sumian said again, I don't know where to go. I don't usually go out. If you don't want to go, you can make the reservation. The barrage exploded instantly. It's really over now. Mian may not even realize that she really likes Chen Go. I'm not envious at all, really. It must be the director's script. There is no such girl in reality. Absolutely not. Come on, play, Chen Go, keep playing. I want to see how you end up. If you let down a girl like this, you will die young. Mian, you said that the four elements are empty, but you closed your eyes. If you open your eyes and look at me, I don't believe that your eyes are empty. Sister Mo, come and save this little fool. The camera focused on Chen Shen's face, and he frowned. After a long while, he said, girls can't easily invite boys to her home. Sumian nodded, I know, so I told you to decide, you let me decide, only home. Chen Shen sighed, if we are good friends, it's okay. Sumian was stunned, what do you mean? Chen Shen explained, it doesn't matter if we are good friends, so I can go to your house and you can go to mine. Sumian pouted at first, then her eyes lit up, you mean to go to my house? Chen Shen nodded, yes, go to your house, listen to you. The observation room was relieved, and the barrage was full of ha 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 ha. It turns out that Chen Go also has pressure, ha 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 ha. Finally, he became a man. He is going to blur the relationship with Mian. Why is it special? Because they are good friends. Niubai, he is a man. He can get around this. What are you laughing at? I'm so worried that this little idiot Mian won't understand. Judging from the camera, it was really hard to tell whether Sumian understood or not. After confirming, Chen Shen was almost done eating. The two of them packed up and went upstairs. Su Mo had already washed herself and was lying on the bed. When she heard the movement, she looked up and then lay back down. Sumian sat on the bed without moving. After a long time, she looked up and said, Sister Mo, I want to ask you a question. Su Mo, just ask. What should it feel like to be in love? Su Mo sat up, this issue is very complicated and cannot be understood in a short time. Sumian, how long will it take? Su Mo, at least 2 months. The barrage didn't understand it at first. Why it took 2 months was incomprehensible. After the observation room explained it, most people realized it. Ha ha ha, Goddess Su is amazing, yes, that's how I taught Mian. After 2 months, the daylilies were even cold. Sister Mo is so kind. She really treats Mian as a friend. Then I can rest assured. This little fool, I don't know what her family is thinking, she actually sent Mian to Lianzhong. I love you, Sister Mo, your merits are immeasurable. The barrage was all about praising Su Mo, but Sumian still didn't seem to understand, so she simply stood up and came face to face with Su Mo. What about normal times? How do you usually feel? Su Mo thought for a while, and then looked at Sumian, I don't feel anything at all usually. Just like good friends, they will think about each other, want to play with them, and give each other gifts, and even exaggerate, invite the other person to your home, so many people don't know whether it's a good friend or a relationship between a man and a woman at first, so it takes at least 2 months to confirm. Sumian nodded, as if she had figured it out, but she seemed not to have figured it out yet, but she was no longer so confused. She turned around and walked towards the bathroom. When she reached the bathroom door, she suddenly whispered, "So, what does Sister Mo mean? Was it just good friends from the beginning?" I don't know which sentence or word to start with. It's like the cold wind from Siberia swept across latitudes into the digital world, turning into a tornado of question marks that filled the entire screen. The camera cuts to the observation room, and the collective gasps. I, you, she, hey. Jinan stood up at some point and pointed his arms towards the camera. Goosebumps, have you seen them? There are several layers of goosebumps. I wonder if there is a Yulao watching this show? Is he holding the welding machine welded Chen Shen and Mian together? Is this okay? Yu Zhongqian and Ling Yanhui were both rubbing their heads, somewhat doubtful about life. Li Ruqing also stood up, her oval-like face flushed with excitement, and her hands cupping her heart. The host let out a long sigh. There's nothing wrong with it all, but when put together, it's all wrong. Director, I have love and hate for you. What will they do next? There are more people doubting life on the barrage. Sister Mo. What have you done, Sister Mo? Can you believe that Chen Go and Sister Mo are cooperating? Is there really such a thing as Yulao? I want to laugh so much and feel sorry for Mian at the same time. Is this Mian's calamity or Chen Shen's calamity? None of your idol dramas have such plots. It's breathtaking, breathtaking. I feel like this show is really going to become a god. Chen Go, don't blame me, you really don't blame me, everyone has seen it. Is this destiny? It was doomed from the moment Mian saw Chen Shen? So whether someone else intervenes, Chen Shen retreats, or someone else intervenes, it will only get closer and closer to that result. I also have goosebumps. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Mi Se. Chapter 209. Su Mo looked at the scene herself, with a complicated expression, as if the water she had poured out had turned a corner and splashed on herself. Su Mo glanced at Chen Qinyu beside her and said speechlessly, "Laugh if you want to, why are you shaking?" Chen Qinyu immediately shook her head, then sat up straight. No, I just feel a little cold." Su Mo sighed, but she thought it was okay. Mian's family makes chips, what connection can they have with the catering and entertainment circles? Chen Shen is destined to be the kind of person who keeps going, which is in line with her. He turned around and ran away. From this perspective, Su Mo still pays more attention to Xiaoqing Ai. After all, Xiaoqing Ai is a person in the entertainment industry. The camera switched to Zhou Gaikan and Zhong Wenbei's bedroom. Zhong Wenbei put his hands under his head and sighed from time to time. When Chen Shen and Su Mo didn't come back, they talked about Chen Shen and Su Mo, joking that they went to meet their parents. Su Yuan was obviously in a low mood, and then he went upstairs by himself. From a god's perspective, it's Zhong Wenbei's turn to be emo now. It's so hard, brother Ken. Zhou Gaikan also lay on the bed and looked at the ceiling. What's so hard about it? Just take action if you like it. That's what you said, but it's so hard to do. Zhou Gaikan, chasing girls is just that. You have to not get caught up in your own emotions, but think about the other person's emotions. It's just like starting a business. If you start complaining about everything when you have a little difficulty, do you think you can succeed? Zhong Wenbei thought about it and said, "It seems so." Zhou Gaikan, people live their whole lives. To put it bluntly, there are only two things to do. Choose one thing to do and choose someone to live with. This kind of life problem, it's not easy in itself. Think about it, how much have you paid to become a top student in everyone's eyes? Similarly, it's the same with love. Your brother may be only a few years older than you, and he has experienced more things, so he can sum up this experience. Love itself is sweet and sour, and there is a rich experience only with comparison. Do you understand? Zhou Wenbei thought, Brother Ken, you are so awesome. Zhou Gaikan smiled, it's okay, it's just a few years older than you. Seeing this, the observation room and the barrage were already laughing. Every time these two people appeared, it seemed a little extraordinary. Zhou Wenbei seemed to understand, and he jumped up. When he walked to the door, he looked back at Zhou Gaikan, Brother Ken, I understand. You are so Buddhist here. You must not have met the girl you like, otherwise these things are too simple for you. Zhou Gaikan's smile froze on his face, and Zhou Wenbei ran out of the door directly. Ha ha ha, if you don't have the skills, don't take on porcelain work. Laugh, keep laughing. Brother Zhou is the one who has done great deeds. He always comes out to save me when I'm unhappy. What's the point? Do you think Xiaobai can beat Chen Ge? God is on Chen Ge's side. What can you use to fight him? Xiaobai, be more careful. Is he teaching you how to fall in love? He is teaching you how to wear that red nose. Chen Qinyu can laugh freely this time. Ha ha ha, she doesn't care about her image at all. Sumo's mind flashed the scene of seeing Zhou Gaikan in the coffee shop that day. She didn't expect him to be such a humorous person. Zhou Wenbei went downstairs and went straight to the restaurant. Xia King Ai was actually in the restaurant, peeling oranges. The two looked at each other and smiled politely. Zhou Wenbei asked, is Sister Yuan asleep? Xia Qing smiled and said, do you think she can sleep? Zhou Wenbei smiled and took out a few apples from the refrigerator. He washed them carefully, cut them carefully, and arranged them carefully. You are so particular about eating them yourself, Xia Qing smiled. Zhou Wenbei, no, I made it for Sister Yuan. Xia Qing was stunned for a moment, then handed over half an orange, okay, this is for you, and it's easy to cut apples. Zhou Wenbei stared, thank you, Sister King Ai. So, Zhou Wenbei went upstairs with a plate of fruit. The barrage began to discuss whether Xiaobai's wave of collective assists from Zhou Gaikan and Xia King Ai would be effective. As for why Xia King Ai was peeling oranges and arranging them at this time, they thought that this was for Brother Yet. Scumbags are hateful, but honest people have no spring. Even bubbles reflect the colors of the rainbow, don't they? Zhou Wenbei knocked on the door, and the bedroom door opened. Su Yuan appeared at the door with an expressionless face. Zhou Wenbei handed over the fruit, Sister Yuan, eat fruit, it's sweet. Su Yuan, what kind of fruit should I eat at night? Zhou Wenbei, supplement vitamin C, help sleep, don't worry, you won't gain weight. Su Yuan seemed to have no reason to refuse, then I will eat with King Ai later. Zhou Wenbei immediately smiled, of course, you can give it to anyone, then I will go back. Su Yuan took the fruit plate, okay, thank you. Under the camera, after Su Yuan closed the door, Xiaobai was still shaking his fist in the same place, very happy. Someone in the observation room said, in fact, what Xiao Zhou said is not unreasonable. In love, even if you give, you are happy. This is already a very high self-emotional value. In the barrage, perhaps moved by Xiaobai's mentality, a lot of people encouraged Xiaobai to be himself. The camera switches to Chen Shen coming out of the bedroom with an envelope, going downstairs and dropping the letter into Su Yuan's mailbox. Xia King Ai, who was still in the restaurant, saw Chen Shen and called him, and then Chen Shen walked towards the restaurant. In front of Xia King Ai, there was a plate of peeled oranges, at least 3 or 4. If the oranges were peeled too much, there would be the structure of orange peel in the gaps between the nails. Xia King Ai was cleaning his nails. When Chen Shen came over, Xia Qing pushed the fruit plate over and said, eat the fruit. Chen Shen, thank you. Xia King Ai said playfully, I originally wanted to give it to Brother Yet. When I see you, I'll give it to you and help me take it with you. Question marks started popping up on the barrage. Someone in the observation room explained, I kind of understand it. Chen Shen and Su Mo went home, which not only stimulated Su Yuan, but also Qing Yi. Why? Think about it, she and Chen Shen were on a confrontation mission. Mian only had Chen Shen in her eyes, and Yuan also firmly chose Chen Shen. Qing Yi came back from a date with Fang Ye and found that Su Mo was driving Chen Shen home. That's pressure in itself. I understand, Qing Yi's move is to tell Chen Shen, what's the use of being so powerful, when you are in my hands. Although this is not a good description, it does mean that. Everyone on the barrage laughed, and then everyone cheered for Xia King Ai, asking her to kill the scumbag with her own hands. Chen Shen, I'd better not eat it. Xia Qing smiled and said, it's okay to eat everything. What are you afraid of? Chen Shen looked at Xia King Ai and stared at each other for a while before saying, then I'll eat them all. Xia King Ai still smiled, it doesn't matter, I'll just prepare. Chen Shen sighed, brother, it's not easy. Xia Qing smiled and said, anyone can say this, but you can't. Seeing this, the barrage started booing. The war has begun, the war has begun. Chen Go, die. You don't have to give me face. Really, just do it to your death. As I said again, as long as you beat Chen Go, I will be your 10-year-old fan. After predicting a wave of predictions, Chen Go not only lost, but also faced the sincerity of Su Yuan and Su Mian being let down, and they have been autistic and forgotten about each other since then. Think about it, Xia King Ai can't lose, and he can't assist himself. In this atmosphere, no one will blame you for falling in love, just keep going. Xia Qing was stimulated, and then specially stimulated Chen Shen, and went upstairs with satisfaction. After Chen Shen ate a few orange slices, he shook his head and sighed, and then went out with the fruit plate. It's okay to see this, everyone in the barrage is laughing, Xiao Chen Shen is okay, and he won't really finish eating. In the next shot, as soon as Xia Qing entered the room, her eyes unconsciously glanced at the apples on the table. Su Yuan, do you want to eat fruit? Xia Qing smiled and said, when I see that it is carefully prepared for you, I won't eat it. Su Yuan, you can eat whatever you want. Is Chen Shen back? Xia King Ai, I'm back, I met you downstairs. Su Yuan, didn't he say anything? Xia Qing smiled and said, don't worry, I look very happy. I should be fine at home. Su Yuan pouted, stood up and walked out. When he reached the door, he hesitated again, as if he had a sense of shame. You won't find me when you come back. I will look for you. Looking left and right, I saw the untouched plate of apples, took it and went out. However, as soon as they went out, they met Chen Shen who was going upstairs. The two looked at each other. Chen Shen was okay, but Su Yuan immediately had a panicked look on his face. Maybe she didn't realize that she would meet Chen Shen at the stairs. From God's perspective, it was originally a bit of an attack on the enemy, but after seeing it, I immediately became discouraged and unconsciously handed over the fruit plate in my hand. Eat fruit, it's so sweet. Chen Shen was stunned for a moment, and then handed the fruit plate in his hand to Su Yuan. What a coincidence. On the barrage, an army of question marks swept across once again. Kinema, you bastard. Look, you girls, take a good look. This is the on-the-spot reaction of a scumbag. An honest boy is clumsy like Xiaobai and passive like Brother Kazuya. Wow, I actually find it romantic. After calming down and comparing, I will choose Chen Shen too. The two exchanged fruit plates and smiled at each other. Su Yuan's panic disappeared immediately. Su Yuan looked at the oranges in his hand and said angrily, why don't you peel oranges without rest in the middle of the night? You're not tired. Chen Shen answered instinctively, you are different. Why are you cutting so many apples without resting in the middle of the night? Aren't you tired? Su Yuan snorted, "It's not me who did it. Eat it if you like it or not." There was a sound of someone falling from the sofa to the ground from the observation room. Some people laughed, and some stood up and pointed at the screen and gritted their teeth. They are public figures and cannot curse. Shameless, I have never seen such a shameless person. Bullshit. My biggest misunderstanding about you is that you are a human being. It's so silky and there's no awkward feeling. Just these few words of response are enough for me to learn for a lifetime. Xiaobai's life is not life. King Ai's life is not life either? Chen Go, can you just be a human being? Xia King I have worked so hard to prepare for so long. Is it to assist you? Xiaobai, brother Zhou, please teach me a little more. If you teach me a little more, Chen Shen and Su Yuan will be completely together. Oh my god, is this the world of scumbags? They tell lies without blinking an eye. Xiaobai, brother Zhou, you are not teaching me to chase girls. Are you teaching me to be a master of ceremonies? The kind of person who hands the girl you like into the hands of another boy. Ha ha ha, look at those popular people in the observation room, that's what makes me laugh. Su Yuan went out with a frown on his face, and came back with a pursed lips and a flushed face. Xiaoqing was stunned for a moment, looking down. Xiaoqing saw the fruit plate held by Su Yuan and said in surprise, "Where are you doing magic? Where are the apples?" Su Yuan chuckled and said, "Change, this is made by Chen Shen. It's so sweet. Do you want to eat it?" Xiaoqing I. Seeing this, the people in the observation room burst into laughter from gritted teeth. Yu Zhongqian jumped up and down, "I'm so angry, I feel so sorry for Xiaobai, but I can't help it, ha 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 ha." I turned around and the house collapsed. King I, you must have felt the gold content of a big scumbag. Ling Yanhui, ha ha ha, it's so funny. Director, are you so happy when editing? It makes me laugh. Chen Shen is not afraid at all. I feel that even if he doesn't win, he can't join our circle. Jinan smiled and shook his head, maybe this is the charm of this show. 1 second my blood pressure is rising, and the next second I am so happy that I am dying. I don't know if there will be another show like this in the future. In the office, Su Emo was also laughing. She smiled at a different angle, laughing at Chen Shen's pettiness. The restaurant was stimulated, and he turned around and went back to the restaurant. Xiaoqing I didn't know whether he had suffered from insomnia that night. Su Emo looked at Chen Qinyu with a smile, as if to say, "Is your stupid brother still stupid?" This time, Chen Qinyu really didn't smile. She frowned and said, "It's silly. There are cameras. That's not how the program effects are done." After saying that, Chen Qinyu looked at Su Emo and said with a hateful expression, "Mr. Su, it may be the first time for him to do this kind of program because he has no experience and is stupid. Doesn't this make the audience hate him even more? I've offended a few people, I've never seen anyone stupider than him." Su Emo was dumbfounded. There was no pause. Although the barrage was still talking about the scene just now, the program had already reached the next day, Friday. Su Yuan rarely got up early, and then boiled water in the kitchen to cook noodles. After the scene came out, more and more people scolded Chen Shen on the barrage. Using an orange peeled by his rival Xiaoqing I not only coaxed Su Yuan, but also made Su Yuan's feelings for Chen Shen break through. Now he gets up early to cook noodles for Chen Shen. In the observation room, host Lin Tong gritted his teeth and said, "Friends in the audience, you must not learn to imitate. You only see his benefit at this moment. You will definitely suffer in the future. And for him, this is also a task. Does not represent character." The audience all complained, complaining that Lin Tong had a hard time making money and shit tasted bad. Since the noodles have already been cooked, Su Emo is also an early riser. Su Yuan not only cooks for Chen Shen, but also cooks a portion for Su Mo. Someone concluded on the barrage that because of Chen Shen, Su Yuan used the fried sauce Mian had made all night to cook noodles for Sister Mo and declare his sovereignty. Chen Shen was thick-skinned and didn't think anything was wrong at all, and he ate leisurely. Chen Shen said he had a rest today and asked Su Mo to leave first. After Su Mo left, Chen Shen had almost eaten and said he wanted to go upstairs to get his computer. Su Yuan asked him to go quickly. As soon as Chen Shen left, Su Yuan hummed and began to clean up Su Mo and Chen Shen's dishes. On the other side, Chen Shen went out with his computer and happened to meet Mian and went downstairs together. It was okay originally, compared to the abominable things Chen Shen did, the audience already had resistance. But the clip was split into two. On one side, Mian was confirming with Chen Shen whether the date they agreed to date yesterday counted, and on the other side, Su Yuan was washing dishes in the kitchen alone. Mad, my blood pressure is up. I hope all the scumbags in the world will die miserably. Do you have to cut it like this? Ha 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 ha, I understand. Do you think we are the only ones with high blood pressure? The editing teachers must also have high blood pressure. Otherwise, why would you want to cause hatred for Chengo? You guys on the show team know how to play. My brother Chen's life is not my fate. Anyway, you play yours, I play mine, and the show team plays on the show teams. It just depends on who has the bigger life, right? The observation room was very exaggerated. They stood up and gave a thumbs up to the program crew. After they got paid, they had to wash the guests. When Su Yuan came out, Su Mian had already left. When he saw Chen Shen sitting on the sofa, he leaned over. Everyone could tell that Su Yuan was already in trouble. He was reluctant to go to work and stayed on the sofa chatting with Chen Shen. Xia Qing'ai was the second to last person to go downstairs. When he saw Chen Shen and Su Yuan sitting in the living room, he said hello to Chen Shen and Su Yuan with a smile but turned around with a dark face. Dan mu gaga music. Walking to the door of the restaurant, Xia Qing turned around and asked, "Hey, Chen Shen, why haven't you gone to work today?" Su Yuan replied for Chen Shen, "He has a day off today." Xia Qing was stunned for a moment, and was about to enter the restaurant when he turned back. What a coincidence, I have a day off today too. The observation room began to boo. King Ai is angry, ha ha ha. This is the real war, last night was just an appetizer. I would be angry too. You've been peeling an orange for so long, and you just turn around and use it to please another girl. The same is true on the barrage. Su Yuan was fine. He didn't notice anything was wrong. He just complained and went upstairs to change clothes. Then he went downstairs and chatted with Chen Shen for a few words before going out. As usual, Fang was the last one to go downstairs. Seeing Chen Shen sitting alone in the living room with a computer, he was surprised. "Hey, what do you mean?" The sun came out from the west. Chen Shen smiled and said, "I'm taking a break today." Fang, yeah, no wonder. Is there something going on at home? Chen Shen, just taking a break, nothing's wrong. Fang Ye yawned, it's good that everything is fine, it's good that everything is fine. Fang Ye went into the kitchen and saw Xia Qing'ai again. Qing'ai, you didn't leave either. Xia Qing'ai smiled and said, I'm taking a break today. Fang Ye glared, you're taking a break too. Xia Qing'ai, yes, a teacher in the team has something to do today and will work overtime tomorrow. Fang Ye looked at the time and frowned and said, it's not easy for me to ask for leave at this time, but Chen Shen is taking a break too. Don't look at him as a person who rarely talks, but he is a very nice person. If you are bored, you can chat with him. Xia Qing'ai gritted his teeth and said, really? On the barrage, maybe the people were different, not many people laughed this time. I'm crying, brother, yeah, wake up. If he's a good person, there won't be any good people in the world. It's over, it's over. Why did I automatically bring up some plots? Oh my god, I'm not clean anymore. Brother Ye is a truly honest person. It's because Chen Shen asked him to get up early, and he still remembers it. Come on, let me see what level your favorite Xiaoqing Ai is. Since the show started, except for Sister Mo who stayed out of it, no one has gone a few rounds under Chen Go. The show continued. It was fine in the morning. Chen Shen sat in the living room with a computer, and Xiaoqing Ai lay on the terrace to rest. They didn't move. After Xiaoqing Ai woke up, the two began to study what to eat for lunch. Xiaoqing Ai wanted to cook by himself, and Chen Shen wanted to order takeout. Chen Shen compromised, but the condition of the compromise was that he couldn't do it, and you, Xiaoqing Ai, would cook. In the barrage, Xiaoqing Ai's fans have already started to scold. Really not a human being, Xiaoqing Ai cooks, you watch. Chen Shen, do you need my help? Xiaoqing Ai had rolled up her sleeves and was washing vegetables. She looked left and right and said, help me tie my apron. On the barrage, Xiaoqing Ai's fans were wailing and shouting no. But, they were covered by another group of barrages. Get lost in the fan circle. I like Xiaoqing Ai like this, taking risks. I see, Xiaoqing Ai is indeed angry. Su Yuan is already under a lot of pressure facing Xiaoqing Ai, and she was a little bit broken last time. She deliberately approached Chen Go, so she said in front of Su Yuan that she would rest today. Get lost, you idiots, can't you? Xiaoqing Ai can't accept any role. It seems okay at the moment, we have to do it this way. What future does it have to keep Yeji? If you can take down Chen Shen, I'll be your fan for life. If you want to do it this way, the ugly brother who I always hope to be played with is not a priority. Do you understand? Xiaoqing Ai and Chen Shen have no pressure, okay. As long as she is sober, she can play with Chen Shen as she pleases. Question, can Chen Go resist a girl of Xiaoqing Ai's level? Putting on an apron, the two faced each other and gave a close-up shot. There is no doubt about Chen Shen's appearance. Many people say on the internet that Chen Shen's only advantage is his face. Not to mention Xiaoqing Ai, who was on the hot search list for her looks during the talent show. Now Xiaoqing Ai is more beautiful than before. Chen Shen took his eyes off first. Xiaoqing Ai, do you like Mian? Chen Shen, do you like brother yet? Xiaoqing Ai smiled, yes, what's wrong? Chen Shen sighed, brother Ye is a very good person. Xiaoqing Ai, Mian is also very good, and Yuan is also very good, not to mention Sister Mo. Chen Shen, I know. Xiaoqing Ai, I know too. Everyone's acceptance ability is different. You can't just look at the present, you have to consider how it will end in the end. The conversation between the two people was full of question marks on the barrage. So Xiaoqing Ai is just messing around, and you, Chen Shen, are prepared? Xiaoqing Ai looked at Chen Shen with a smile, so, it seems free and easy, but in fact there are a lot of concerns in your heart. You want both? And then you think you can arrange everything. Chen Shen didn't answer. After a while, Xiaoqing Ai said again, Chen Shen, aren't you afraid of being put into a sack in the middle of the night? The barrage began to get excited that Xiaoqing Ai's combat attributes were not bad, and the two of them were completely exposed. Chen Qinyu and Su Mo looked at each other, and Chen Qinyu breathed a sigh of relief. Although her silly brother had grown up, he was still within the acceptable range. Su Mo perked up a little bit. She mainly looked at Xiaoqing Ai from a god's perspective, wondering what kind of person Xiaoqing Ai was. As for Chen Shen, many people may not have noticed that Xiaoqing Ai was angry at the beginning, so she choked Chen Shen, and Chen Shen's retreat seemed to be restrained after being said. In fact, Xiaoqing Ai's anger slowly dissipated, and the subsequent conversation began to become harmonious. However, for those who don't understand, this scene seems to be Xiaoqing Ai slowly taming Chen Shen. The more Xiaoqing Ai talked, the more interested she became. While eating, she began to arrange dinner for the evening. She felt that she and Chen Shen were both resting, and she definitely couldn't let everyone come back to cook. It would be better for her to cook the meal with Chen Shen. Sure. Very strong. It's a bit of a thing, what will the other girls think of this? Especially you. I'm at work and you're at home cooking with the other girls. Although the strategy is okay, I always feel that Chen Go is not that weak, right? Or is it that Chen Go is an art student and has no resistance to an idol like Xiaoqing Ai? Is there anyone really speaking up for Chen Go in the barrage? Why, the scumbags have found the founder. Xiaoqing Ai has a filter for a trainee, it's normal. Chen Shen really didn't refuse. After Xiaoqing Ai went upstairs and changed into a set of clothes, they went out together. Perhaps because he was afraid that being followed by a camera would make him conspicuous, Xiaoqing went to the camera teacher and asked for a self-portrait machine. As soon as Xiaoqing held the camera by herself, she became a little active, taking pictures here and there before switching to selfie mode. After walking around the supermarket, Xiaoqing Ai seemed to be in a low mood again, and handed the camera to Chen Shen. It's okay, I'll let you play with it. After choosing some ingredients, Xiaoqing turned back and looked at Chen Shen. It shouldn't be. It's boring to get along with you. Is it just because you are good looking? When these words came out, the observation room burst into laughter. Ha ha ha, Chen Go, does it hurt? It's so heartbreaking. Qingyi started playing, it made me laugh. She was wondering why Chen Shen is so attractive to girls, but she found that she was not attracted and started to doubt her life. Ha 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 ha, help, this sentence is so funny, I really have a crush on this girl. Chen Go, you have today too. Ha 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 ha. Chen Shen was really speechless, so, after being in contact with me for a long time, this is what you got. Xiaoqing shook his head and said seriously, it's not that exaggerated, but boredom is real. Chen Shen, dot. After walking some distance, Xiaoqing looked at Chen Shen, what do you think of me? Chen Shen, he is one of the most handsome people I have ever met. Xiaoqing Ai, one? Who else? Chen Shen, you think my good looks are nothing more than that. I think your good looks are a great advantage. This is the point. Xiaoqing Ai, so you think I'm nothing more than that. Chen Shen, dot. The barrage was hilarious, but judging from the chat alone, Chen Shen did not have the upper hand. Xiaoqing Ai was obviously more relaxed than Chen Shen. As Xiaoqing walked and picked up ingredients, Chen Shen said, in addition to being beautiful, she also learns things quickly. Xiaoqing turned around and said, okay, she's good looking and can coax people, those are two of her advantages. The barrage was filled with laughter. They didn't expect that Chen Shen and Xiaoqing Ai's relationship would have such a silly show effect. Chen Shen, thank you, don't find out about me. Xiaoqing Ai, what? Are you afraid that I like you? Chen Shen took a few steps back with the machine, and Xiaoqing Ai deliberately leaned forward, haha don't worry, I'm a career-oriented girl. Even if I like someone, I won't fight to the death. As long as it conflicts with my career, I will definitely choose a career. What about you? Chen Shen said nothing. As soon as Xiaoqing came over, she snatched the camera away, put it into selfie mode and stood next to Chen Shen. Chen Shen hid, and she moved closer to Chen Shen. Xiaoqing Ai, don't you think this is a kind of relaxation? I know what you are here for, and you also know what I am here for. There is no pressure when we get along. I also know that Brother Ye is a good person, but this job has already received. Before Xiaoqing finished speaking, Chen Shen snatched the camera away. Don't talk nonsense. Then, the screen went black. The barrage is full of question marks. What does it mean? Are you interested in watching it? Then the screen flashed. Chen Shen and Xiaoqing had already left the supermarket with the camera in hand. The barrage was full of curses. The observation room was okay, and several people breathed a sigh of relief. Chen Shen cut off the screen, actually to protect Xiaoqing II. This program obviously dared to cut into anything. Chen Shen's action made many people change their views. Putting aside the mission, he was not so scumbag. At the door of the villa, under the sunshine, Xiaoqing looked at Chen Shen. She is good looking, well measured, good at coaxing people, and quite kind. No wonder. Chen Shen didn't answer. Xiaoqing II, aren't you happy to praise me? Chen Shen, what if these are all staged? Xiaoqing Ijin nodded, that makes sense, there should be some acting involved. Chen Shen said angrily, how old are you, and you just want to imitate others? Xiaoqing II retorted, how old are you? You still don't learn how to look at people. Chen Shen, then just say yes. Xiaoqing laughed heartily, don't be so guarded. Just accept the compliment. In fact, I said you want both and want it this morning. From another angle, it's not a derogatory term. During this period, the person in the observation room actually saw a knowing smile. Chen Shen and Xiaoqing II are hidden secrets. Perhaps this is their true appearance. They wear masks in front of others. On the barrage, CP fans seemed to take advantage of every opportunity and actually started talking about Chen Shen and Xiaoqing II. The angle changed, and the feeling seemed to change. The whole afternoon's interactions between Chen Shen and Xiaoqing II seemed to be a bit pink. Xiaoqing II is very active. Not to mention the observation room, there are many people on the barrage who have changed their minds because of this episode. Is this what Xiaoqing II is like? That's really attractive. At around 3 o'clock, Xiaoqing II went upstairs and changed into the clothes everyone saw in the morning. Chen Shen, the set just now was pretty cool too. Xiaoqing II hummed and said, I don't understand the style. Chen Shen buttoned up the computer and said with a smile, let's see, let's see. I told you not to find out. Are you soft-hearted? Xiaoqing turned around and went upstairs. What does that mean? Why can't I understand? Are these two people talking in code? The comments were all confused, and so was the observation room. How could they not understand the situation? Did they become soft-hearted just because they changed their clothes? Jinan shook his head and explained, 6666, I just came to my senses. The two of them communicated very smoothly. Xiaoqing II is also a very smart girl. She asked Chen Shen to go out to buy vegetables, but she was not just cooking for everyone. I believe everyone can see this. Why did she create confusion for Chen Shen? Think about it. When Su Yuan came back and saw King II cooking with Chen Shen and even changing clothes, would he make any associations? From this perspective, Xiaoqing II's changing clothes actually reduced the difficulty for Chen Shen, so Chen Shen said she was soft-hearted. The comments were still in shock, and Xiaoqing II came down again, and then the whole screen was filled with wows. Xiaoqing II wore stockings. Chen Shen stared at her intently. Xiaoqing II smiled, 1, 2, 3. Chen Shen immediately looked away, why are you counting? It's boring. In the office, Chen Qinyu felt like sitting on pins and needles again. How come these two people are getting more and more ambiguous? The barrage, too, what's the point of making a fuss? Two undercover agents of the enemy are also shipping? There's something wrong. Su Mo gritted her teeth, okay, you like stockings, right? Xiaoqing II, idols are different. At 5 o'clock, Chen Shen and Xiaoqing Ai started to prepare the dishes, and Fang Ye came back. The moment he saw Fang Ye, the barrage automatically skyrocketed. Because Chen Shen and Xiaoqing Ai had pink bubbles inexplicably, as Xiaoqing Ai said, they really had no pressure to get along, or it could be said that the pressure in this environment was too great, and even the audience was attracted by it when they relaxed. What can I do if I see this? Fang Ye entered the restaurant, and he chatted with Xiaoqing Ai and Chen Shen normally, happily. This scene made the audience anxious, and some comments started to curse, saying that you are blind, can't you see Xiaoqing Ai changing stockings? Fang Ye wanted to help, and Chen Shen was about to leave. Xiaoqing Ai looked at Chen Shen, didn't you say you wanted to learn how to cook, brother Ye, just let him come, you are tired after working all day, take a rest. Under the camera, Fang Ye's body was obviously stiff for a moment, and he looked at Xiaoqing Ai in a daze. At this time, Fang Ye seemed to have just noticed that Xiaoqing Ai's clothes had changed, and immediately looked away. Zhong Wenbei came back, and after saying hello, he was a little dazed, and then sat at the dining table with Fang Ye. Oh, I feel sorry for brother Ye. Ha ha ha, the fight is on. Xiaoqing Ai originally wanted to make things difficult for Chen Shen, but Fang Ye came back very early, and he couldn't give up halfway. Chen Go obviously wanted to run away. Kill 1,000 enemies and lose 800 of his own. Hold on, King Ai, come on, there are 2 people on Chen Go's side, and you are only one, don't back down, if brother Ye can't handle it, forget it, you can try to control my brother Zhou, we will definitely support you. Just let brother Ye go, and make Chen Go your first target. If Chen Go doesn't work, go find brother Zhou. Don't worry, brother Zhou is both inexperienced and playful, and playing with his feelings is a reward for him. Are you devils? Under the camera, Chen Shen has been looking at Fang Ye. From a god's perspective, it can be seen that Chen Shen is concerned about Fang Ye. As if he suddenly figured it out, Chen Shen took the initiative to lean towards Xiaoqing Ai, what else do you want to do? Xiaoqing Ai, onions, ginger, garlic, and potatoes, peel the potatoes. Chen Shen, how do you peel the potatoes? Use a knife. Xiaoqing Ai, special knife, look for it. Chen Shen, I can't find it. Xiaoqing Ai, you are annoying. Chen Shen, you are annoying. Xiaoqing Ai, then you can chew it with your mouth. Chen Shen, is it this knife? Xiaoqing Ai, that's a Western knife, brother who cuts steaks. Fang Ye sighed heavily, then got up and went out silently. His heavy footsteps made him look so sad. At the dining table, Zhong Wenbei held his head with both hands, stunned. I can't do it anymore, brother Ye, actually Chen Go is doing this for your own good, do you believe it? Ha ha ha, sorry, brother Ye, I really can't help it, this is how the show is, your lives are nothing. Fang Ye, I asked you to play together, not to stop me, just going to work, the world has changed. I am dying of laughter, I understand, you guys messed up everyone else and talked about it yourself, right? The observation room was also laughing and distressed. The confrontation between Chen Shen and Xiaoqing Ai is actually the most couple-like mode of getting along in the show. I really can't do it anymore, let's stop here today, the state feels a little wrong, tomorrow I will continue with the day. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Se. Chapter 210. No, you see, from Chen Shen's perspective, it's a good thing that he is so close to Qingyi, because it creates a rift between Qingyi and Fang Ye, but why did Qingyi do this? Fang Ye and Xiao Bai are back at this time, and Yuan and the others haven't come back. Fang Ye's back is really sad, and someone in the observation room raised a question. If this scene is a scene where everyone is there, it would be killing 1,000 enemies and losing 800 of your own. But the female guests haven't come back, and they lost 800 of their own before killing 1,000 enemies. As soon as the observation room guided, the barrage began to chat. Teacher Jinan, please tell me, why? Jinan shook his head, let's watch it first. To be honest, I don't understand it. These two people seem to have let themselves go. There are rules, but there are no rules. The show continues. In the kitchen, Xiaoqing handed a potato peeling knife to Chen Shen, and then looked out the window. From the kitchen, you can see Fang Ye walking to the glass plank road. Xiaoqing I then whispered to Chen Shen, are you satisfied? Under the camera, Chen Shen did not answer. Xiaoqing I, a handsome man who is sensible, can coax people, and is kind-hearted, will you also open up your advantages to me? Originally, the barrage was still questioning Xiaoqing I's approach. Seeing this, I started to swipe the screen. The people in the observation room looked at each other, and I didn't know who started it, but applause broke out. Xiaoqing I was exploring Chen Shen, but it was not just curiosity. She was trying to understand Chen Shen's character. Chen Shen said Fang Ye was a very good person, so Xiaoqing I listened to Chen Shen. At least from this action just now, Xiaoqing I's self-harm was not without value. It can be understood superficially, and it can also be understood as moral kidnapping. I listened to you and took the initiative to create a rift with Fang Ye, so what about your kindness? Chen Shen smiled and said, I'll help you, you're playing tricks on me, right? Xiaoqing I snorted. Seeing this is okay, although it was Xiaoqing I's confrontation, it still had a bit of pink bubble meaning. The funniest thing is that there is another person in this occasion. Zhong Wenbei is still sitting at the dining table. He raised his neck to look at Fang Ye on the other side of the glass plank road outside the window. The autumn wind was rustling. He raised his neck again to look at Chen Shen and Xiaoqing I who were whispering in the kitchen very close to each other. His eyes were full of confusion. Chen Shen and Xiaoqing I went out after preparing the dishes, and Zhong Wenbei was still frowning and thinking. Zhou Gaikan came back, and as soon as he showed his head in the restaurant, he was waved by Zhong Wenbei and called over. Brother Ken, I found a big secret. Zhou Gaikan. Zhong Wenbei, I feel that there is something going on between Brother Shen and Sister King Ai. Brother Ye ran outside to shut himself up, and Brother Shen and Sister King Ai were still whispering in the kitchen, just like this. After saying that, Zhong Wenbei leaned against Zhou Gaikan. Zhou Gaikan stared and immediately turned aside. Impossible, you mean Chen Shen is next to Xiaoqing I like this? Zhong Wenbei, yes, I'm not lying to you at all. I made up the logic in my mind. Do you think it's right? Brother Ye and King I should have quarreled, and Brother Shen felt that he had a chance, so he went to pursue Sister King I. Then do I have a chance with Sister Yuan? Zhou Gaikan took a breath. What nonsense are you talking about? Aren't you afraid that these will be broadcast? Zhong Wenbei laughed. Impossible, if this part of mine is broadcast, Brother Shen and Sister King I must also be broadcast, otherwise my words are illogical. Sister King I is an artist, how could she broadcast such a thing? The sound of laughter immediately rang out from the observation room. I can't hold it anymore, my family. Xiaobai, you are not going to surpass your master, are you? Cross-border director, traversing the world, so terrifying, damn, I am dying of laughter. Zhao Chunsheng, if you do this, will anyone dare to come on your show in the future? But, what Xiaobai said is indeed correct. From his perspective, this scene cannot be edited in. King I is a popular idol. Brother Zhou, have you lost your skills? You can't keep up with Xiaobai's rhythm. Don't let me look down on you. Outside, Xiaoqing I appeared on the glass plank road and stood next to Brother Ye. Brother Ye deliberately walked 2 steps to the side, as if he was angry. Xiaoqing I sighed, then turned around and was about to leave. Fang Ye immediately turned back. What's wrong? Why are you sighing? The barrage laughed. Damn, you can bite even with a straight hook. Xia King I turned back again. It's okay, just a little tired. Fang Ye, why are you tired? Xia King I don't know, maybe it's cooking and buying groceries. I don't know how to cook, I just cook by rote. Fang Ye, I told you to order takeout, why do you still have to cook? Xia King I sighed again. Fang Ye immediately said, no, I don't mean to blame you. Since you are all resting, just rest well. I got off work so early just thinking about coming back to cook. Xia King brother Ye, you are really a good person. You can see that you are very tolerant of girls. There must be a lot of girls who like you. Fang Ye touched his head. No, not many, no, really not. Xia King I smiled. It's good, this is an advantage, then I feel relieved. The barrage was a bit difficult to understand. They were all complaining about brother Ye being too honest, and also complaining about why Xia King I still coaxed Fang Ye. In the observation room, they could see that those contents were easy to cause misunderstandings, so they needed guidance. Everyone looked at me and I looked at you. Jinan spoke, brother Ye is going to be in a tragedy. From a god's perspective, this is actually a hint from Qingyi. When she said don't worry, it was a hint that brother Ye should still find a girl in reality. Rather than rest assured of brother Ye's explanation. On the barrage, the words "that's it" began to scroll. Fang Ye is indeed very easy to coax, and when he comes in he is cheerful and like a normal person. Zhong Wenbei and Zhou Gaikan looked at each other, and question marks almost appeared on his heads. The barrage laughed. Zhong Wenbei, brother Ye, you are not with sister King I. Fang Ye glared, what happened to Qingyi and me? Very good, you kid, don't spread rumors. Zhou Gaikan looked at Zhong Wenbei and said, I'll tell you you're talking nonsense. This action seemed to be seen by Fang. He approached Zhong Wenbei and whispered, Xiaobai, you are not a bad person. Like me and Chen Shen, we are both honest people. Don't listen to Akan's half-baked gossip. He just does it in this industry, you have to make your own subjective judgments. Zhou Gaikan stared. On the barrage, there were immediately a lot of discussions. I understand, Fang must have noticed it. It's impossible for him to have no influence at all, but he is so stubborn. Brother Ugly, there's really nothing wrong with you this time. I'll testify to you that someone is pretending to be asleep. There's nothing you can do about it, ha 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 ha. So that's the case. Brother Ye was like this when he and sister Mo got bad at first, ha ha ha. Many viewers didn't believe it at first, but it wasn't until Chen Shen and Xiaoqing started cooking and Fang deliberately didn't look over that they believed it. It seemed that it really felt like this. This kind of thing cannot be comforted by just a few words, but Fang also needs steps. As soon as Xiaoqing went to find him, he found the steps, followed them down, and then started to talk hard to maintain dignity. In the kitchen, Xiaoqing I seemed to have completely let go. He really didn't care what was going on, and was having a heated discussion with Chen Shen. Zhou Gozu and Zhong Wenbei seemed to have turned into robots that could only turn their heads left and right. They looked at Fang Ye, then at Chen Shen and Xiaoqing I. Hey, I do feel a little sorry for you, but what Xiaoqing I and Chen Shen are doing is not wrong. Chen Shen is not trying to steal Fang Ye's partner, but saving him. Qingyi and Fang Ye are under a lot of pressure when they get along. When Chen Shen brought this up, Qingyi immediately disconnected from Fang Ye and put all the pressure on Chen Shen. This move is powerful. It depends on whether Chen Go has it or not. Conscience. Still, that's what I said, brother Ye, forget it, it's better to stop early, but brother Zhou is fine, give him some pictures, he is a person in the entertainment industry himself, and he is very receptive. Come, Anne is back. The camera goes outside and Su Yun comes in from the yard. What about inside? Xia King I was tying Chen Shen's apron. The two were very close to each other and were chatting. Under the camera, Chen Shen clearly glanced at the other side of the table, and then whispered in Xia Qing's ear, "What a cruel woman." Xia King I hummed and said, "Isn't this what you said? It's wide at the top and narrow at the bottom. I have a good figure." Chen Shen, "The candy you fried is mushy." Xia King I. On the barrage, the experts appeared. "Can you believe I'm smiling like an ant right now? Brother, yeah, I'm sorry. They really seem to be able to take drugs. They are all undercover agents and wolves. Isn't it too much for a wolf to fall in love with a wolf?" Chengo, "If I were you, I would immediately imitate Xia King I and have sex with Xia King I in front of everyone, and then break off from Su Yun and Mian, putting pressure on Xia King I. I am so sincere, you and it's not too much to fall in love, right? Chengo, this is your only chance to turn around. If you don't grasp it well, you really can't end it?" Xia King I knows that he can't waste his time. Please let me go, follow Mian. The observation room is also discussing this point of view. After Xia Qing came into contact with Chen Shen, she decided to give up on Fang Ye, which was indeed a good decision. If she finally explained to Fang Ye, it would definitely hurt Fang Ye. They had only been in contact for a few days, so it wouldn't be a big deal. It's interesting. It can be clearly seen that Xia King I has no pressure at all against Chen Shen. It just depends on whether Chen Shen can withstand it, someone in the observation room said. Li Ruking was a little excited, "So, our views are the same? King I has changed his strategy and can handle Fang Ye. Why not be more bold and deal with Chen Shen? This is to be disconnected from Fang Ye according to Chen Shen's words." Jinan nodded. "At present, Qingyi seems to have this plan. Yu Zhongqian, doesn't that give Chen Shen the initiative? Isn't this a disadvantage?" Jinan smiled and said, No, this is an advantage. Let's put ourselves in his shoes. In fact, this is Qingyi pointing out a perfect path for Chen Shen. It's like Chen Shen telling Qingyi not to grab Fang Ye. Then don't hold on to the other female guests. It won't work now anyway, so let's play against each other. Yu Zhongqian, what if Chen Shen doesn't hold hands with Qingyi and asks for 1 million in the end? Jinan, first of all, King I's charm is undoubted. Secondly, you have to understand a little bit about the world. Thirdly, he has done so many exaggerated things, and he will eventually turn around, unless he really doesn't want to be in this circle. The candy was all over the pot, and Xia Qing became angry and started to pinch Chen Shen's waist. This action, not to mention the audience, was in a trance in the observation room, it was so natural. However, Su Yun happened to step into the restaurant, but she didn't seem to see Xia King I's movements. She looked at Chen Shen with surprise. "Hey, I can actually see someone wearing an apron." On the barrage, a bunch of people replied, "I didn't expect it, King I tied it for me." Over at the dining table, several boys seemed to be interested, and they all raised their heads and looked over. "Chen Shen, does it look good?" "Su Yun, it looks good." "Hey, King I is here too." "Xia King I. At this time, Su Yun took a look at Chen Shen and Xia King I. Following Su Yun's gaze, the camera focused on Xia King I's legs. The black stockings were a bit glaring. Su Yun looked at Chen Shen and narrowed his eyes. "What did you do?" On the barrage, everyone began to gloat. Many people laughed, and many people said that it had to be like this. It would definitely be better to end it now than in the end, if Chen Shen were a human being. However, Chen Shen frowned and said, "Why did you get off work so late today?" Su Yun, "Huh? I also want to get off work early, but I'm so busy today." If you give me a lot of work, I almost have to work overtime. Chen Shen sighed, I finally got a day off, I thought I could. Su Yuan's expression immediately softened, and his tone was already a bit coquettish. Oh, it's okay, aren't you coming back now? Su Yuan's instant mood change stunned the buddies at the table. Xia King Ai glared at Chen Shen fiercely, as if to say, I have started to ignore Fang Ye, why don't you let Su Yuan go? So what am I expecting? Chen Go, you don't want to be a human being at all, Mata, you are a scumbag. Yuan, please wake up, you beast. This beast, he didn't even hesitate. He just blurted out the words and coaxed Yuan to sleep. Oh. Ha ha ha, let me tell you, this situation was brought about by Chen Go himself. Can he follow Xia King Ai's rhythm? This is so good looking. Okay, Xia King Ai was dumbfounded. I handed over my trump card. You are not a human being, are you? Stop scolding, this is the fun, look at those three buddies, they made me laugh. Nice, really awesome, I just want to see how you end up. The observation room was also all dumbfounded. Xia King Ai could still guide Fang Ye on the glass plank road, but how to guide him on this section? The host looked to the left, and the people on the left immediately looked up at the ceiling. The host looked to the right, and the people on the right immediately lowered their heads. The host gritted his teeth, well, I think so, forget it, I won't make any more money. Yes, he is a scumbag. Chen Shen is a scumbag in his true nature. The observation room burst into laughter along with the barrage. Li Ruking added in a low voice, I don't think so. Look at the previous exchange between him and Qing Yi. He also advised Qing Yi not to just focus on the present. Qing Yi also said that he wanted both, just in case he really had something good. The idea is over. A bunch of thumbs up emoticons floated on the barrage. Let her earn, let Li Ruking earn this money. Look, it's the scumbag that attracts girls. Sister Li is still speaking for Chen Go. Li Ruking has nothing wrong with making money, she deserves to be famous. Everyone came back one after another, and then sat down to eat together. This meal was probably the most subtle one, with not much talking. There were many people who enjoyed the barrage, and many who scolded Chen Shen. Yuan and Su Mian seemed to have formed a delicate balance, and Xia King Ai glared at Chen Shen from time to time. Chen Shen put down the bowl and chopsticks, stretched and said he was full before getting up and going out. Then Xia King Ai immediately put down his chopsticks, I'm full too. The camera switched to outside, where Chen Shen was standing on the terrace. Xia Qing came out and looked fine. Someone in the observation room analyzed and said that Xia King Ai was angry again. It was obviously a good situation. As soon as Su Yuan and Su Mian came back, Chen Shen didn't need to do anything, and they immediately broke away from Xia King Ai's rhythm. The two of them walked into the yard without saying anything. After circling half the villa, Xia King Ai stopped as if he had made up his mind, are you free tomorrow? Barrage explosion. Goodbye, King Ai, I feel like you can't beat him. Really, this bitch has no human qualities at all. I'm afraid you'll kill him. A date. This is a date invitation. King Ai, how about we stop taking this seriously? From a rational point of view, no boy can resist Xia King Ai's date, right? However, from an emotional point of view, I always feel that something is going to happen. No, Chen Go, that's enough. Stop harming our King Ai family. Really, as long as you don't mess around, our King Ai fans won't scold you, okay? So far in the show, many people are scolding Chen Shen to death, but they are really afraid of Chen Shen. The scumbag attributes displayed by this piece of shit are a bit scary. Chen Shen, are you dating me? Xia King Ai, but only tomorrow. As long as you agree, I dare to date you. Chen Shen smiled, forget it. The people in the observation room stood up unconsciously and breathed heavily. You still refuse to hum me, right? The barrage is full of question marks. Are we worrying in vain? Xia King I had a slightly provocative smile on his face. You don't dare to date me, because you're afraid that you and me won't be able to stand it, so you don't even think about ending it. Chen Shen, I'm afraid brother Ye won't be able to bear it. Xia King I, haha. After walking a few more steps, Xia Qing gritted his teeth and said, the day after tomorrow, my bottom line is the day after tomorrow, okay. Chen Shen sighed, I'm really afraid that brother Ye won't be able to bear it. This has to be a process. Just like before, I couldn't treat them like you did to brother Ye. On the barrage, they didn't believe every word Chen Shen said, and there were scumbags everywhere. Xia King I, you are not sincere, so you are playing tricks on me. I listened to you and stayed away from brother Ye and tried not to hurt him, but what about you? Now you start to say that my method is wrong. Okay, I will give you a day to think about it. Before this time tomorrow night, these words still count. After tomorrow night, I will not say another word to you. Xia King I's words are well reasoned. The two people have the same identity and feel good about getting along. It seems that Xia King I took the initiative, but in fact, Chen Shen did not pay any price. Instead, Xia King I set himself up. Chen Shen suddenly turned to look at Xia King I, okay, then I will be more sincere and tell you the truth. Your method is wrong in my opinion. I do have a better method, but I can't tell you. My position is to make this show good while winning, to bring relaxation and a little thinking to the audience, because this is my first job, I want to do it beautifully. I am just a person who simply wants to do a good job. But if you think this meeting is a must, I can also agree to it, but you have to be mentally prepared, and it may not meet your expectations. Just like you said, I am also a career-oriented person, but remember, I changed my mind not because of other people or program rules and the company behind you, but because of you after today's interaction. A Xia King I who has settled down and dares to take risks, has not been hit by the trough period, and is still enthusiastic and moving forward. Under the camera, Xia King I was obviously stunned, staring at Chen Shen intently. Is this an impromptu performance? Amazing, this bastard is still trying to poo us from a distance, can you believe it? He said that everything he did was to make us relax and think, I'm going to hum you. Okay, you knew in advance that the guests in the observation room couldn't wash themselves, so you washed yourself, right? Do you think we can relax? King I told you not to look for him, wake up. What if what he said is true? Otherwise, what's the point? I think what he said makes sense. He doesn't need a million, and he knows he's in front of the camera, so why is he so exaggerated? Isn't it just to do this show well? The facts have proved that this show is really popular. It's over, I actually saw a lot of barrages were washed out. No, buddy, you are facing Xia King I, and you still have the leisure to tease us. Not to mention the barrage, the observation room was also fooled by Chen Shen's words. After switching the camera, several people had confused looks in their eyes. If you think about it carefully, Chen Shen's words do make sense, otherwise what is he trying to do? Even if he is a real scumbag, he has to pretend in front of the camera, right? Is the core motivation for him to do this really 1 million? Even if Chen Hotpot goes bankrupt, it won't be without 1 million, right? Yu Zhongqian stammered, it seems to make sense. This program is destined to have someone sacrifice their image. Think about it, so far, do we have any opinions about King II? Is she doing positive things? Isn't approaching Yeji the same as Chen Shen, but the person we curse in our hearts is only him. Lin Tong clapped her hands and laughed, stop, Can you be a little more promising? He just mentioned it to Xia King Ai during the recording. Don't put yourself in his shoes. The show continued. It took Xia King Ai a long time to react. His tone changed a little, and he didn't dare to look directly at Chen Shen. You are not sincere at all. Chen Shen turned around. Whatever you think. Xia King Ai shouted. I agreed, I won't consider it. The camera switched, and Chen Shen just entered the room and looked at Su Mo. The comments were very chaotic, saying all kinds of things. Yu Zongqian's words confused many people. Everyone should know how to act in front of the camera, so why didn't Chen Shen act? He wouldn't be so stupid as to show off his scumbag skills to the national audience, right? He was with Xia King Ai in the last second, and with Su Mo in the next second, but this time he cursed less. Su Mo, are you not going home for a break? Chen Shen shook his head. Su Mo, you have a bad relationship with your dad. With just 2 sentences, the audience's attention was attracted. So, when Su Mo and Chen Shen went home last night, did Sister Mo really know that Chen Shen was Chen Ruxi's son? The key was that she wasn't angry. Chen Shen, it's okay, sorry, catering is really difficult. Su Mo, not really, your dad took me to see someone during the day. Chen Shen, who? At this point, the information they were talking about began to be coded, and it became a BB sound, with subtitles explaining that it involved commercial secrets and was not convenient to disclose. The camera turned, and Su Mo looked at Chen Shen with a smile. You cheated me once, so it's not too much for me to cheat you once, right? Chen Shen, as long as you don't care, I can't help it. Su Mo, okay, I'll let you take advantage, and give me a day. The atmosphere in the observation room was a bit weird, and it was difficult to evaluate this line. But they really wanted to say that Sister Mo was confused. You are Su Mo, a person in the capital circle, and you have to join in the fun? Will this hurt your reputation, or is it really related to business behavior? The camera switched to Li Ruqing. Maybe the amount of information was a bit too much. She was counting on her fingers. Mian, King Ai, Sister Mo. When the camera switched to the villa again, Chen Shen was already face to face with Su Yuan. Tired, destroy it? This episode is not good at all, really, woo woo woo. Sister Mo, please don't come. You are my only goddess. You won't really go on 4 dates with this bastard, right? Okay, if you have the guts, look back at those guys in the restaurant and see their faces. So, while this bastard was being dated by everyone, he also provoked a wave of barrages. The key is that the barrages also took the bait. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Mi Se. Chapter 211. The last shot of the 4th issue focuses on Chen Shen and Su Yuan, like a blank space or another explanation. In the office on the 15th floor of Yuhan Building, Chen Qinyu has not yet recovered. The content of the last half hour was a bit exaggerated. At first she couldn't help but smile, thinking that her silly brother was so lovable, and then it became more and more outrageous. Is this true? Chen Qinyu asked Su Mo. Su Mo stretched out, her bulging breasts ready to come out, and said angrily, fake it, just fake it. Chen Qinyu glanced at the screen again. The guests in the observation room were still chattering and discussing, but Chen Qinyu couldn't listen to a word. To put it bluntly, this issue is sorting out the 4 lines of Chen Shen's 4 dates. Needless to say, no one was surprised by Su Mian. They became good friends by accident, and they didn't know what the foreshadowing was. Su Yuan is the most obvious one. He is already attracted to Chen Shen, so it is not surprising. Su Emo was indeed surprised, but there was an extra line home that no one could see. Where was Xiaoqing Ai? It's a bit like she's playing herself into it. Of course, many viewers feel that Xiaoqing Ai still has a chance of winning. Seeing that Chen Qinyu was still thinking, Sumo's tone softened a little. It's very late. Just rest in the hotel today. Don't worry about how he will end up. I won't be here until he checks in. After saying that, Su Emo got up and left. After hearing no movement, Chen Qinyu stood up and breathed a sigh of relief. In fact, Chen Qinyu didn't think it was complicated at all. Wasn't it because her stupid brother had figured it out? The method of coaxing girls felt strange to her. Chen Qinyu just felt too uncomfortable in front of Su Emo, especially the last paragraph. When Chen Shen and Xiaoqing were interacting, Chen Qinyu didn't dare to look at Su Emo. She really regretted watching this bullshit romance drama with Su Emo. He is indeed a big investor, but fortunately he is not careful. If it were him, Chen Qinyu felt that he would definitely not be able to bear it. Chen Qinyu took out her phone, edited a WeChat message and sent it to Chen Shen. Let me just tell you, why does Mr. Su know so much about you? Don't think about me secretly reporting to you in the future. On the other side, the Joy Building. Zhao Ziazai was still at the company, and he finished reading this issue of the romance drama. This feeling was disgusting. Chen Shen couldn't wait to scold him, but he had to watch it. This issue was very important to him. While watching, I chatted with Zhou Gaikan to confirm the content of the program later. Zhao Ziazai curled his lips when he thought about this. Zhou Gaikan said that in the early stage, he was drifting between the two female guests. In the middle stage, he was a remote control graduate student who was tearing apart the scumbag. Later, he noticed that Chen Shen and Xiaoqing Ai had a script, and then he took the initiative to step out and not participate. He was the only sober person besides Chen Shen and Xiaoqing Ai. Zhao Ziazai didn't see any of these contents, but he saw the innate clown body mentioned in a barrage. Old Chen, I remember you said a few days ago that you gave Chen Shen an S-level contract because he wrote some great songs later. Zhao Ziazai chose to ask Chen Tianhui. Soon, Chen Tianhui replied, yes, Yuan Media can accept Xiaoqing Ai as a supporting role for Chen Shen. In addition to being passive, the other point is that Chen Shen gave Xiaoqing one or two works, which are said to be very powerful. Zhao Ziazai pondered for a long time, and then sent another message to Zhou Gaikan, Akan, find an opportunity tomorrow to let the news out. Huanyu's stock market has been doing well recently. It stopped its downward trend a month ago and is still up a few points. After comprehensive information, Zhao Ziazai felt that there should be no problem. The domestic capital market relies not only on profits, but also on stories and concepts. Chen Shen's popularity is the biggest story. This piece of shit has the top 4 date invitations in this issue. Thinking of this, even Zhao Ziazai gritted his teeth and spit. In addition, Chen Tianhui said that Chen Shen will show strong creative ability in the later stage, so this story will not only be popular, but also profitable. All things considered, Zhao Ziazai felt that this wave was a sure bet, and the more hesitant he was, the less time he would have to operate. His logic is very simple. People who play stocks may not necessarily understand the entertainment industry. To take a step back, for example, when Su Emo became popular in the first issue, many bloggers in the financial circle came out to ride on Sumo's popularity, praised Su Emo in various ways, and then heated up the two companies Su Emo had invested in before. At that time, it seemed several daily limit boards were created. Is Chen Shen angry? It can be regarded as the #1 hotspot at the moment, even more popular than Su Emo. Then this hotspot signed Huanyu, building momentum first, and then going to the stock market to buy goods. To put it simply, Zhao Ziazai uses money to buy his own stocks. The logic of the stock market is that if the money coming in is more than the money going out, then the stock will rise. The concept is hot, and people who play stocks will see that the market is also hot, and there is no shortage of people who want to make money. The more people buy, the faster the price will rise. The faster the price rises, the more people will buy. For example, Zhao Ziyazai bought his own stock for 10 yuan a share and bought it for 11 yuan, an increase of 10%. People outside thought I was so awesome and swarmed him. At this time, Zhao Ziyazai looked for an opportunity to sell again. As soon as he came in and out, the price difference went into his pocket, and the people who came in later became leaks. Before completely falling out with Chen Shen, he can still make a fortune. Of course, these need to be done by traders and cannot be done by brute force. The next day, Chen Shen woke up in the hotel room. After washing, I looked at the time, 6:20. Opening the curtains, it was getting later and later, but it was still pitch black. There were a lot of messages on his phone, and he also saw the message sent by his sister. He guessed that his sister probably watched the show and was complaining in his mind about what there was to watch. Joe Gaikin sent a bunch of messages over. Call Brother Joe. Call me Brother Joe. What the hell? You went to bed early today too? Didn't you watch the show? Forget it, I won't whet your appetite. Zhao Ziyazai asked me to release the news tomorrow. Do you have any arrangements? If not, I will find time by myself. It's boring, it's really boring, it really doesn't look good. Ha ha ha, it turns out that the apple that Brother Ye showed off to me was given to him by Xiao Beiki. It made me laugh so hard, you two clowns. You are really not a human being. Why did Xiaoqing hug your arm right away? Brother, can I call you brother? Can you teach me some skills? Practical ones. Maid, my cousin has come to my house. The message just now was sent by my cousin. I am the most innocent lover in Yuzhou, and I despise people like you the most. Chen Shen shook his head. He is a good actor. No wonder he is affectionately called the innate clown holy body by netizens. Chen Shen clicked on Weibo to see which direction the wind was blowing. I opened the hot search list and was immediately stunned. A second ago, Chen Shen was still mocking Joe Gaikin in his mind for being a congenital clown. The next second, the number one hot search topic was Chen Shen, the holy body of an innate scumbag. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Mi Se. Chapter 212. The entry Holy body of a congenital scumbag was the leading one on Weibo. Some netizens took stock of Chen Zha's top 5 famous scenes in this issue. First, let Sister Mo drive him home, knowing that there are tigers in the mountains, but prefer to go to the Tiger Mountains. Secondly, he coaxed Su Yuan with oranges that Xiaoqing had peeled for half an hour, and also tricked Xiaobai into giving Su Yuan the apples that he had cut, and gave them to Fang Ye to eat. Third, use Xiaoqing I's self-esteem to fight all the way to the end. After Xiaoqing I is ready to burn the boat, tell her that you are the best in the world. Fourth, using passive skills on Mian, Yu Lao's steel bars cannot be pushed away, run away, or dismantled. Fifth, scum enters the soul, standing across the camera, fishing on the river of time of recording and playback, and some people take the bait, yes, his scum is all for our good. Chen Shen looked at the 5 major inventories and felt a little embarrassed. It was the netizens who praised me in various ways. However, the first hot comment below made Chen Shen a little nervous. You guys are going too far. He is sober. He is not a scumbag. He has said it himself. He does not record this show as a love show at all. He is doing it as a job out of consideration for the excitement of the show. Jing Yi, didn't you laugh? Weren't you happy when you watched it? There are really people who are still addicted to CP after watching this show. You think Chen Shen is not worthy of them at all, and I don't think they are worthy of Chen Shen. Just looking at the comments, it's normal. After all, There are all kinds of birds in the forest, but when looking at the fifth item in Chen Shen's 5 major inventory, it's hard to comment. This comment received over 1 million likes overnight, and someone responded to him and shouted to everyone, "Brothers, be sure to send her up, there are not many such talents in the world." Chen Shen sighed, "In fact, this is the nature of the entertainment industry. Why is black and red also red? Because there are always people who can appreciate you, just like there are always people who will scold you. If you do well, there are two kinds of people, and if you do poorly, there are two kinds of people. The same is true in life. If there is no one who likes you around now, don't doubt yourself, because your audience is too small and you haven't let the people who like you find you yet. Don't embarrass yourself less and give those who like you more opportunities. Whatever you want, you can just let the news out now." Chen Shen sent a message back to Zhou Gaikan. Putting down his phone, Chen Shen did not go downstairs to the gym. Since the third episode, Chen Shen has been deliberately avoiding some public places. However, that doesn't mean you can't exercise. In the living room, lay a layer of mats and take out the skipping rope. 40 minutes later, Chen Shen took 2 photos, one of himself in front of the mirror, sweating profusely after exercise, and the other of the skipping counter, 3,500, and sent it to Su Mo. Soon, Su Mo also sent 2 photos back to Chen Shen. The format was exactly the same. She also had 3,500 photos. "Don't jump so much at the beginning, just take your time." Chen Shen replied, "Nothing. Su Mo, my hair is dripping with sweat, I'm really stupid." Chen Shen: "Don't play with my sister. It's all about bad qualities. You have to learn these things. Guess why she doesn't have a boyfriend?" Su Mo: "Haha." After briefly washing away the sweat on his body, Chen Shen went out, but to his office on the 15th floor. Chen Shen had been staring at Weibo all morning. At 9 o'clock, Zhou Gaikan responded to the message and said that he had spread the news about signing for Huan Yu. Then Chen Shen kept scrolling on Weibo, but failed to find any relevant news. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Chen Shen couldn't bear it anymore and sent Zhou Gaikan a WeChat message. "Didn't you say they dispersed? Why is there no splash at all?" Although today is Saturday, Zhou Gaikan has been promoted recently and needs to perform well, so he will be at the company on Saturday. When Chen Shen signed Huan Yu, Chen Tianhui promised Zhou Gaikan to manage Huan Yu's public relations department. After Zhao Jingquan came back, he also nodded, and the process was completed on Thursday. Changing to the office of the department boss finally healed some of the wounds in my heart. The office was twice as big as before, and the constant temperature air conditioner quietly maintained the most comfortable temperature for humans, but Zhou Gaikan felt like he was sweating profusely while sitting at his desk. The phone vibrated. When I took it over, I saw a message from Chen Shen asking him what was going on. Zhou Gaikan glared and had the nerve to ask. "It's all your fault. I found someone to spread the news at 9 o'clock, but no one paid attention to it. This issue is all about your scum. Who the hell cares which company you sign with? Damn it." This message was sent back to Chen Shen by Zhou Gaikan, cursing. Zhou Gaikan has connections on Weibo. His general operation logic is to find a Matrix account to post the message, then ask Huang V to organize the message, and then ask the people on Weibo to add permissions and push the message. It is equivalent to when everyone sees this news. As long as everyone clicks in, there will be a bunch of related news, which will give people the illusion that, oh, there are so many references, this is what happened, and then it will form a hotspot. However, this time, no one paid any attention to the news about Zhou Gaikan, or they did explain it but it failed to change the topic. Because Love Lesson is so popular, not to mention Chen Shen's scumbag, just a photo of Fang Ye standing on the glass walkway looking at the golf course has a lot of people discussing it, asking Zhou Gaikan to be his grandfather. the level of discussion given by the authority given by the grandma is still high. In this large traffic pool, no matter which company Chen Shen signs, it will not attract much attention. The technicians on Weibo complained to Joe Gaikin that since the third episode, they have been working overtime since Friday night and cannot rest on Saturdays and weekends because they are afraid that the server cannot bear so many people online at the same time. Chen Shen replied with a string of question marks. Joe Gaikin ignored it because Zhao Ziyazai also sent a message asking if Joe Gaikin had not released the news yet. Joe Gaikin sighed and typed back, "Mr. Zhao, it's difficult. This group of people are completely attracted by the content of the program. They don't seem to care about what company Chen Shen signed with. Why don't we change the dimension and directly find people in the financial circle to hype it?" Joe Gaikin didn't know why the company announced this at first. After being promoted, he talked to Zhao Ziyazai once and probably guessed that they were going to make a wave of stock market trends. But the logic of this matter was not clear at first. They all thought that Chen Shen was so popular now. It would be easy to arouse discussion by releasing what company Chen Shen signed with. After the operation, Joe Gaikin understood that Chen Shen's popularity was different from that of others. Other people become popular because they attract a huge number of fans, such as a certain artist who starred in a certain drama and became popular, and then his movements were exposed, and a bunch of people flocked to him hoping that he would develop better and better. But Chen Shen became popular because a bunch of people complained about him, and they all scolded his behavior. This is his basic base. I don't like you, I don't care what company you sign with, the key is to distinguish the true from the false, I have nothing to do. Okay, I'll give you a budget, but you have to do it beautifully. Chen Shen originally thought that Huan Yu would make a big move, but the first shot was a dud. That's right, it's really a big heart to hand this matter over to Joe Gaikin. Chen Shen spent almost a Saturday in boredom. Today is the day when Qin Fangyu's first batch of hot pot restaurants opened. Sister Mo is not here, and Sister Mo is not here either. Sitting in the office and watching the sky darken, Chen Shen himself felt amazing. I actually have so much free time. At 8:30, Su Mo sent a video message to him. Chen Shen clicked it. It was a video saved on Douyin, made by a financial blogger with more than 100,000 fans. The more than 3-minute video focuses on two pieces of information. One is the two companies that Su Mo invested in before. Because of the popularity of the love variety show, a lot of people did make money in the stock market under the manipulation of people with ulterior motives. The second piece of information is about Chen Shen. He said that he got accurate information. Chen Shen did sign Huan Yu. Not only did he sign, but he also participated in the filming of Huan Yu's biggest project this year, Jinyi, in Hongdian. He also counted how many hot searches Chen Shen had related to him during this period, how much money Penguin Video made from Chen Shen, etc. It's professional enough to find these people to do the market. What kind of asset is Huan Yu? Can it be supported? This group of people only care about killing and not burying. No wonder you want to keep an eye on Huan Yu, Su Mo complained on WeChat. Chen Shen laughed and laughed. Ken is still a good brother. Chen Shen browsed around on Douyin. There was indeed no popularity on Weibo about signing with any company, but there were many people talking about this on Douyin. 5 or 6 financial bloggers made related videos. There is also a blogger with more than 2 million fans who specializes in entertainment gossip and also made a related video. His angle was the most unique. Why did the observation room stop exaggerating Chen Shen's behavior later, but Li Ruqing did? Would an artist in his 30s be a pure fan? Obviously not, so why should he speak well of Chen Shen? Because Li Ruqing also signed Huan Yu, and Chen Shen was her junior brother. Who else could she speak well of if not her junior brother? This angle brought Li Ruqing into the picture, and flattered a wave of Li Ruqing's fans, and the discussion went up. Chen Shen said in his heart that it was a pity. If it was a long-term investment, it would be a good thing. Just follow the hype, and then wait for these people to withdraw. They would not care about Huanyu's life or death at all. When the market collapsed, they would just take over. However, Chen Shen knew that there would be more heat accumulation in the later stage. If he really followed the trend, and Huanyu was shameless and did not tear her face off, he would be very passive in the short term. Sumo's complaints were also about this point. It's okay. I'll try to divert the blame, Chen Shen replied. Su Mo got it instantly. That's a solution.